Nervous, actually. I'm a little nervous. Mhm. So, the there, that there. Um, what happened?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Thanks for joining my space. We're going to start in 2-3 minutes or so. So get your coffee ready, get your tea ready, and let's do this thing. Okay, is everyone ready for the space? Has everyone got their tea, their cool drink, their water? Ready with questions, ready with a pen and paper? So before we kick off the space, I want to go through some housekeeping rules, essentially. You are more than welcome to ask questions. Essentially, what I want this to be is an interactive space. This space is really to talk about entrepreneurship in Africa and what it really looks like, what entrepreneurship on the ground really looks like, and how you can prepare for entrepreneurship. And then what we're going to talk about is who I am, my origins, i.e. how we all got here, how I started out as an entrepreneur. And then we're going to touch a little bit on our relationship with Temba and the Ghost Nation. And then we're going to talk about everything else we've done. And then we're then going to go into a question and answer session. So what I've done is I've prepared a presentation here. I've put together a PowerPoint presentation that I'm going to go through. Hey, Delia, do you mind muting there? Hey, Delia?
Hi.
Do you mind muting, please?
Hi, Representative. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Can you mute your mic, please?
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Thank you. So, yes. So I've put together a presentation here that I'm going to go through. So what I would like to do is I'd like to go through this presentation. And then after the presentation, then we'll open up for questions and answers. I'm recording this presentation on Zoom. So, excuse me. So I'm recording this presentation. So tomorrow morning, let's say tomorrow midday, this presentation will be available on our YouTube channel. So what I'll do then is later this evening or early tomorrow morning, I'll put this presentation up on our YouTube channel. And I'll also put a link so you can download the PowerPoint or the PDF of this presentation. So at least you have visuals to match with this recording. I'm not too sure how to download these sound recordings off of Space. I don't even know that if that's possible. If we can, we will. If not, this will be available on YouTube, and there'll be a link tomorrow, which I'll tweet so that you guys know. Before we begin, any questions? Any questions? Everybody clear on house rules and that kind of thing? So I've asked Delia to be my co-host. I'm not very good at multitasking. In fact, I am hopeless at multitasking. So as I talk to you now, I'll be going through the presentation. So if you've got your hand up, if you've got, if you have a question you want to ask, I'm going to ask that Delia take care of you so that at least we have a little bit of a smooth space. Okay. Everybody good to go? So let's start. So the presentation I've prepared for you guys today is called Lessons Entrepreneurs Learn the Hard Way, as if life wasn't hard enough. And essentially what this conversation is about in this presentation is about what entrepreneurship really looks like. Quite often, when we think about entrepreneurship, what we're sold Maseratis, big houses, beach holidays, plane flights in private jets, were sold VIP A-list parties and that kind of thing. But entrepreneurship in reality is very, very different. And because entrepreneurship is very different, when we do start businesses or when we do start a side hustle, the reality hits us like a ton of bricks. So I'd like to call in a volunteer. And that volunteer, it cannot be Delia though. It cannot be Delia. I'd like to call in a volunteer who's going to share with me what their favorite holiday destination is, but it has to be a holiday destination where they are willing to live forever. So whether it's Jamaica, Barbados, Thailand, wherever it is, somewhere where you really, really, sort of are passionate about, somewhere you'd like to go and live at, but it's got to be a great holiday destination. So let's get some takers. Who's going to volunteer their holiday destination? Who's going to put their hand up? Come on, guys, don't be afraid. Okay, one requested. Let's see who this is. Let's see if okay. Everyone is unmuted now. Okay, do we have a hand up somewhere? Guys, I don't bite. Also, I promise not to make fun of you. I promise you, I'm not going to make fun of you. Okay, shall we start with calls and then come to the ghost one? Shall we start with calls? Calls. Do your thing.
Thank you, Mr. Okay, hello everyone, and thank you, Mr. Moon. I would pick Florida in USA because I like tropical weather, and I would feel it's not so much different from Durban because it's also a tropical weather, so Florida, Miami.
Okay, perfect. So the ghost one, I'm going to ask you to volunteer a little later on. So if you don't mind, please keep your hand up. Okay, so let's take that. So let's say you've dreamt all your life about going to Florida and living there. And for a good 5-10 years, you save up. You pour all your energies into going and living in Florida. You pack up your family, you sell all your belongings here, you sell your car, you sell your house, everything. You sell your wardrobes, your favorite clothes, and you move to Florida. And the first week you're there, Florida is completely magical. You spend the rest of all of your days just soaking up the sun, soaking up the wind, soaking up, the vibes, the energy, the music, the food, the smell of the food, the smell of the street food, the street culture, and all of that kind of thing. And it's magical. And every day you have a routine where you wake up in the morning, you have breakfast at home, and then you take a stroll in the town just to see what the shops, and you go window shopping. And imagine one morning, it's sunny, it's beautiful, you can hear the birds, the sky is clear, and it's nice and warm. And you're walking in Florida, and all of a sudden, boom, somebody punches you right in the face. And this person punches you really hard, and they crack your jaw, and they knock you out completely. Imagine you wake up a few hours later, you're in hospital. And when you wake up in hospital, the doctor is speaking to your family, and the doctor is describing your injuries. And the doctor says, look, she's hurt. Her jaw is cracked in 4 places. She's lost some teeth. We're going to have to do reconstructive surgery. We're going to have to fix her nose a little bit because that was also broken. And as the doctor is describing what your condition is and the things that they're going to have to do to help you heal, in comes a police officer. And a police officer says to the doctor, doctor, what's going on? How's our patient? The doctor describes your injuries to the police officer. And then the doctor says to the police officer, so have we caught this person? Do we know who this person is? And the police officer says, look, we don't know. It looks like this was just a random attack. And it looks like our victim was in the wrong place at the wrong time. And she just happened to be really unlucky, and she just, got socked in the face. And imagine having to go through 3 months of really painful reconstructive surgery, 3 months of healing, of fear, of paranoia. You're in your destiny, your dream holiday destination town. You're so paranoid, you're afraid to go outside, your mouth is wired shut, you're eating through a straw. Imagine the emotion you go through whilst you're trying to figure out why this happened to you. The police are telling you it looks like it was a random attack, you are just unlucky. And for 3 months, you go through this very painful process of healing. And eventually, you get enough courage to go outside. And when you get enough courage to go outside, what then happens is you fall back into that process of enjoying the sunlight, enjoying, the vibes, the sights and sounds of Florida, and enjoying the people, and the culture there. And then one day, boom, you get punched again. This time, they punch you right in the middle of the face, and they shatter your nose completely, and they crack your cheekbones. You wake up, in hospital a few hours later, and the doctor's like, yes, what's going on here? Now we're going to have to put a metal plate on your face. We're going to have to redo the reconstructive surgeries, and it's going to take even longer for you to heal. You go through the same process. Weeks and weeks of eating with straws, of paranoia, of counseling, of crying endlessly, trying to figure out why this has happened to you, questioning yourself whether you made the right decision, and questioning whether or not you should be doing this at all, because this was supposed to be your dream destination. And you heal after 5 months, and it happens again, you get punched again. And you go through the same process of healing, the same process of trauma, the same process of questioning yourself. This, ladies and gentlemen, is what entrepreneurship is really like. Entrepreneurship is not private jets. It's not music. It's not champagne. It's not Cavassier. It's not caviar. It feels like getting punched in the face when you least expect it by a random person who's got zero accountability. Now, the only way for you as an entrepreneur to avoid getting punched in the face, of course, is you've got to learn how to duck. Okay. And learning how to duck, at least in the entrepreneur sense, metaphorically, is you've got to learn how to build a profitable business from very early on. And not just any sort of kind of profit, your business has got to generate what we call SIR profit, SIR profit, where the SIR stands for savings, investment, and reward. So if you want to avoid getting punched in the face, i.e., if you want to survive, if you want your business to survive its first 3 years, you've got to generate enough profit when you start. Or, excuse me, as early as possible. You've got to generate enough profit. After you've paid yourself and your employees' salaries, you've got to generate enough profit so you can save for a rainy day. In case we get shut down like happened with COVID, you've got to generate enough profit to invest in machinery, in equipment, or in a new human resource to help you run your business. You've also got to have enough profit for you to reward yourself and your employees at the end of the quarter, at the end of 6 months, or at the end of the year. Because all those three things are important. Because those three things, savings, investment, and reward, they drive business sustenance and growth. So metaphorically, you've got to learn to do the rope-a-dope. So the rope-a-dope is a series of sort of ducking movements Muhammad Ali did, I think, when he was fighting Joe Frazier. And this guy had Muhammad Ali against the ropes, and he was swinging for the fences. He was throwing haymakers left, right, and center, trying to catch Muhammad in the face. Muhammad had his hand on both his right and his left hand on the rings, and he was ducking Joe's punches like a madman. And Joe hardly connected. And that's what you've got to learn to do if you're an entrepreneur. Learning to do that is learning to build a profitable business. But in order for us to learn to build profitable businesses, we've got to understand some hard truths about entrepreneurship. The first thing we've got to understand is entrepreneurship is a very technical skill. It's not this wishy-washy. It's not like economics. Economics as a subject is, it's a soft science. You could, in fact, you can't even compare it to psychology. Entrepreneurship is a very technical skill, much like artisanry, right? So much like welding, much like bricklaying, much like boiler making. That's how technical entrepreneurship is scaled. So entrepreneurship is and business building is. And the process of building a business is very artisanal. You've got to lay that brick bit by bit. And like any technical area of expertise, you've got to master the basics for you to become good at it. And so this is really what this conversation is about. This conversation is about dispelling the myths around entrepreneurship and sharing you the hard truths. And one of those hard truths is you have got to learn the technical basics of business building. Secondly, entrepreneurship is also about self-actualization, building yourself, molding yourself, realizing a higher, a better version of yourself. And if any of you have ever owned a business or had a side hustle, and if any of you have ever had that side hustle of business fail, you would have gone through a really painful time. Part of the reason why business failure hurts so much is because when your business fails, you feel like you've failed yourself, because that process of business building is actually a process of building oneself. And so subconsciously, you feel like you failed yourself, you feel like a failure, and it's difficult for you to separate your business from who you are. And so it feels so deep and it feels so visceral. And that's what happened to me when I first started. I started out this very passionate, very energetic person. First time I started a business, I was a real serious one. I was 26 years old, resigned from a job I enjoyed in banking, and got into business building. So at the time, I was putting together an employment preparation program for students and graduates. I'd studied a BSc in genetics, and I'd gone to work in banking. And the transition was steep, but I was willing to learn. So I thought, you know what? If I'm having so much trouble, probably other people would have the same trouble. So let me put together a course. We're going to publish it online, and we're going to make some money. So as I started building the material, the course content, I discovered at the time that number one, Coursera was out. Coursera was still very new, but also putting it online would require areas of expertise I didn't have. And so I thought, you know what? We'll just get a camera, record it, sell it as DVDs, and run it as workshops. After 18 months of building this thing, I was ready to go to market. But when I was ready to go to market, I was tired, I was broke, I was in debt. And I discovered one very painful thing that made me throw in the towel. I discovered that actually students, graduates don't know what they don't know. And because they don't know what they don't know, they don't realize how important it is to learn and be prepared for the world of work. And so because I wanted to sell my course directly to graduates and I didn't want to sell it to corporates, I had hit a brick wall, because here I was trying to sell this thing to people who thought they didn't need it. And when you're young, that's the thing, you've got so much energy, you feel like you know everything, and you trust yourself and you trust your instincts. And you go with whatever you believe. And so I realized that this was a non-starter. Graduates were not going to get this. And typically what happened then with corporates is I got a couple of offers and people were saying, we'll include it in our graduate program, but that's not what I wanted. So I had to throw in the towel and admit to myself that, this thing was a failure, and man, oh man, did I not go through an emotional time. There were times where weeks, in fact, where I wouldn't get out of bed. I was a ramshackle, essentially. And my family was convinced I was bewitched. But it felt like I'd lost somebody really close to me. And after a while, I got over it. And in the years that followed, I started a bunch of businesses. But after about 4 years of starting businesses, I'd either start a business that I wasn't interested in, and in that business, and what seemed to happen quite often was I'd start something that I'm not interested in and it would take off. Then I'd completely kick myself because I didn't really like this thing and this thing was taking off. Now I had to do it every day. And so after about 4 years of going through this crazy cycle, I decided, I'm tired of failing. I'm tired of doing the wrong things. Let me figure out what I'm doing wrong. So I went to square one, had a conversation with my parents, who were both entrepreneurs at the time, with my previous boss who'd given me my first job, and essentially my mentor and everybody in my network was an entrepreneur who'd been an entrepreneur for a while. And I gathered some advice, both from my experiences and their experiences, on what it took to build a successful business. So then I took that advice and I thought, I'm going to consult with startups. And I started consulting with startups. At the time when I was starting to consult with startups, my fee was 500 Rand an hour. And so what would happen is the startups would always ask me exactly the same question. And it would turn out that, they didn't have enough budget to be able to afford my services for a long time anyway. So they'd end up in a catch-22 where they'd either need to sort of let me go as a consultant and sort of put whatever money was left into their business, or they'd have to retain my services and risk running out of money. And so out of just the sheer frustration of having to answer the same questions day in, day out, meeting after meeting, client after client, I was like, let me put together a PowerPoint. If anyone asks, I'm going to sell this thing to them and, and be done with it. So, when you're frustrated and you're writing just to sort of relieve your frustration, it went from a PowerPoint to a Word document to a book. Now that book had 2 sections. The first section was all of the stuff and the guidance that I'd known, that I'd experienced, the things that I'd done right, and some of the advice that I'd got. The second part was stuff I didn't know, stuff that I was told by the more mature entrepreneurs and my mentor, but stuff I hadn't experienced. So I took the first portion and I published it in a book and I started selling it for 100 Rand, a printed book. When I started marketing that book, I realized that actually people didn't know who I was. People were like, who are you? Why should we buy your book? And I didn't have the money or the energy to try and sort of market myself enough for people to buy my book. And the more I did it, the more I realized that my marketing expense for people to know who I am to buy my book would end up costing me more than I'd make from the book sales anyway. So I thought, at least in the short term, so I thought, okay, let me give this thing away for free as an ebook and build a reputation and build, a track record, which I did. So over a space of 2 years, we gave the book away for free and it was downloaded by over 6,700 entrepreneurs across Nigeria, South Africa, Zambia, Zimbabwe, Lesotho, Swaziland, Namibia, and Tanzania. And so during that time, what we're trying to do, myself and a couple of people joined me, was we're trying to monetize this idea of saying, let's give the book away for free, let's find a way to monetize. And my mentor had said to me, the only way you can truly test the value of a product you have is by putting a price on it and taking it to market. But I didn't want to listen, so I continued giving the book away for free because in my mind, I had a goal, right? Build that reputation, build that track record, which, I was able to do so to some extent. And then push came to shove, and now, I needed to make money. I needed to put food on my table. So I started a property maintenance business where we did painting in offices and put tiling, and we made money and things were good. And then I started selling to clients, property developers specifically. I had 2 lists, one list of property developers, and I had another list of property managers. And when I called them, they told me 2 things. We want a health and safety certificate. And because, government was starting to enforce that then, the second thing they said to me was, we want a large team. We want a large team of people because our sites are large. We're not just building one house or, with one floor. We have whole buildings and we have many apartments in a complex. So we need a large team of people to work on site at the same time. So now I was in a catch-22. I have to scale a business and I've never scaled a business before. Now, what do? Do I continue running this business and try and scale it and, put out fires as I go along? Or do I shut this thing down and go and figure out how to scale a business and then come back and do this? So I decided what I'll do is I do the smart thing. At least in my mind, then I do the smart thing. I closed my business and I went to work for an accelerator whose area of expertise was building and helping re-engineer mature businesses. So at this accelerator, I spent 3.5 years working with, businesses all the way from startup to mature businesses that were 15, 20 years old. Guys who were making no money, working with them through a point where they were generating up to 500 million Rand in annual revenue. And with businesses as big as, medium-sized businesses were generating 140 million Rand per annum. So one of my special achievements when I worked for this accelerator, which has now gone global, they now have offices in the UK and in the US, was a good number of the businesses I supported, in fact, 15, we were able to help raise their turnover, their sales by over 200%, and their profitability by over 1,268%. Purely because, unlike the other people, my colleagues, of course, I knew and understood something about entrepreneurs that is a competitive secret for me now. And so after my work was done with this accelerator, went back to putting together the 10-minute guide to starting a business, because now I knew what it is. I knew how to scale a business. I know how to build systems in a business. I know how to work with entrepreneurs, and I understand exactly how to push entrepreneurs and push buttons. But most importantly, it became very clear to me where the gap in terms of entrepreneurship was. And that gap was in the fact that people didn't recognize that entrepreneurship was a technical sport. And secondly, that you needed to master the basics. And there were so many myths about entrepreneurship in the market. And so that's what the 10-minute guide is about. It's about these are the technical basics that you need to do. You need to implement to help you build a profitable business. And it's designed in that way so you can read and implement as you go along. So what I want to do now is I want to take a break from talking and speak to you. I want us to do a quick little exercise. So I'm going to take you, Ghost One, because you had Snazo, because you had your hand up earlier. So what I'd like us to do is, I'd like us to build a business, okay? So Snazo, I'd like you to suggest what kind of business we should build. And this exercise is really to help you illustrate, number one, some of the information, to help illustrate some of the information that's in the 10-minute guide, but also it's to help illustrate for you what it actually takes to build a profitable business. So, Snazo, do you want to go ahead and offer us a business idea? Okay, Snazo is not, Snazo doesn't seem to be too keen. Anybody else? So anybody else, does anybody else want to offer an idea that we can all use? Okay, money owned by Blacks, Mob Child. Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Hi, how are you, my brother? Mob Child?
Can you guys hear me?
Now we can hear. Now we can hear you, Snazo. But the train has gone past your stop. Mob Child is going to offer us a business idea.
Oh, sorry, I was having connection issues.
No worry. We'll come back to you. We'll circle back. Mob Child, do you want to offer us an idea?
A red dwarf star like the sun and gas giants like Jupiter, where the first exists organic compounds of covalent peptide amino acid bonds from which heat and rapid decomposition of ammonia and methane on Jupiter helps form hydrogen, nitrogen, and carbon dioxide.
Yeah.
And also for the sun, these celestial objects are earlier forms that have triggered the Big Bang.
No, my brother. We're not. It's not that kind of party. Ghost Snazo, do you wanna jump in here and rescue us?
Okay, not a problem. What was the question?
So we're gonna build a business together with everybody in the space.
Okay.
So what I would like you to do is offer us a business idea for the kind of business we can build together.
Oh, okay.
It can be anything.
Yeah. Maybe a business where I sell medicine.
Medicine. What kind of medicine?
Yeah, chemist.
A chemist.
Yes.
Okay.
Like a
private chemist.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I don't know.
Perfect. Okay. So now let's get somebody else. So we're building a business that's a chemist, a private chemist. Now let's get somebody else. How much money would we need to buy medicines to stock up our what is this? Our pharmacy.
Pharmacy, yes.
Anybody? Mangaka? Okay, so I'm gonna take you as a speaker. See. Mangaka, do you wanna offer us something? So we're building a pharmacy, sorry. We're building a pharmacy. So there is no right answer here. So all we're simply doing is building this business together. So now we want to get ideas from different people. So we want to stock up this pharmacy now. How much money do we need to stock up this pharmacy with all the medicines that we need? Give me a number, Magaka.
Good evening, everybody. Can I give any number?
Any number.
As an example, okay,
Yeah.
let's say 15 million.
And no, that's too high. That's too high.
It's too high.
It's too
So
high.
must I go to 1,000 or what?
Yeah, look, what we're doing is we've got a small pharmacy that we're building. So we want to stock up because we are starting this business.
Okay.
So
Let's say 50,000 here at least.
okay,
For
so
now.
for
As an
stock,
example, yes.
perfect. That's perfect. So for stock, we're going to need 50,000 rands in stock. Okay. So what else are we going to need for our pharmacy? So now we've got stock for 50,000 rands. Where are we putting this pharmacy? Are we putting it in a mall? Are we putting it in a shopping center? Are we putting it in a strip mall? Is it a standalone house? Where are we putting it? Any volunteers?
I think it should be where it is going to be accessible to everybody. Like in our communities, we don't have many pharmacies. I think maybe if it can be in our townships.
Yes, but is it in a mall, in a township, in a shopping center, at a garage? Where are we putting it?
In a mall.
Okay, in a mall. Okay, perfect. So we're putting this pharmacy in a mall. Okay. And what else do we need? Do we need then? Okay, maybe let me track back a little bit. How much rent are we paying? Do we own the space that we are using at the mall, or are we renting it?
I would assume that we are renting the space.
Okay, and for how much?
Maybe 70,000.
70,000. Okay, 70,000 rents per month. Okay. Now, did we pay deposit in order for us to occupy the space?
Yes.
Okay.
We need to deposit, yes.
Okay. How much was that deposit? How much was that deposit that we paid?
35K.
35K. Okay, perfect. 35K. Okay. What else do we need now to set up our pharmacy? So now we've got a location, we've got a store, a location at a mall, we've got stock, we've paid deposit, we've got first month's rent. What else do we need to get our pharmacy ready?
We need employees.
Okay, how many?
How much square meter are we talking about of the building?
You tell me. You tell me.
Let's just assume that 2 people will be enough.
Sorry?
2 employees.
2 employees, né? And how much are they earning per month?
$10,000 gross.
Okay, so 10 grand each, né? And how much are you as a business owner earning per month?
Maybe 20,000.
20,000. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So what else do we need to get our pharmacy going? What else do we need to put in place?
Maybe the tools of trade like telephones.
Okay, so telephones. How many telephones? Just hold on. How many telephones?
The one that should be in the pharmacy.
Yes.
And then for the owner, and for the owner, because the two employees will use the one in the pharmacy.
Okay.
Or anything and they are going costs.
So 2 telephones. And how much are we paying for these telephones? How much are we paying to buy these telephones and how much are we paying for them per month? Because when we buy phones, we've got to get them installed, right? So once they're installed, we've got to use them. So how much? Any figure?
1,000 to buy.
Okay.
And maybe 5,000.
So 1,000 to buy and 5,000 per month.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. So 5,000 per month. Okay. So now we've got stock, we've got space, we've got employees, we've got a telephone. Now we need computers. How many computers do we need?
Maybe 3 computers.
Okay, and how much each?
15K.
So 15K each. So that's 15 times 3, that's 45K. Okay. So what else do we need so we can kit out our pharmacy and get ready to trade?
We need some sort of like awareness marketing.
Marketing, okay. What kind of marketing? Is it social media? Is it pamphlets? Both? Which one are we doing?
It can be a combination of both.
Okay. So are we putting money into social media marketing?
No, I think we should put money because now we're only starting up and we are not really known in the market. So we need somebody who is with marketing skills to actually put our services out there for us.
Okay. So how much are we paying per month for this social media marketing? $50,000.
No, that's a lot.
So Paul says 50,000. Jessica says no, that's a lot. How much? Come to an agreement,
No,
ladies.
I'm thinking 5 grand.
Cause are you willing to come down?
Social media and 5, maybe 2 grand for the pamphlets because we are in the township and we can just put pamphlets everywhere at the mall and like in the township itself. And we get somebody who is with marketing skills, but it's not that expensive. So I think 5 grand.
Okay, so marketing, social media, 5,000 per month, and pamphlets, 2,000 per month. What else do we need then to get our pharmacy going?
So the pamphlets are a once off.
Oh, the pamphlets are once off. Okay, perfect.
Yes.
And then what else do we need to get our pharmacy going?
We need the product. We need to like stock up the shelves. Right?
Yeah. So we've already counted that we said it was going to be 50,000.
Oh, okay. Sorry,
okay.
I missed that.
Let me ask you then this. So how much what do you think would be a reasonable price for medicine? Let's just agree on one price, an average price for medicine. Like for a pack of pills.
Yeah, okay.
Say 200 rand.
Yeah, like 200 rand for 100 mil of currencies.
Okay, so price, tablets, 200 rand. Ne? Okay, so now we need a mathematician. I need a volunteer to calculate some numbers for us. Who's going to be our... Okay, perfect. So now what I'd like us to do is I'd like us to add together all of the money that we put in to get the pharmacy ready to trade. Yeah. So 50,000 for stock. Okay, you got it?
Yes.
So what's your name?
Archie.
Archie. Okay, perfect. Thanks, Archie.
Yeah.
So 50,000 for stock, 70,000 rand for the first month of rent.
Yes.
Plus 35,000 for deposit.
Wait, am I adding all these?
Yeah, you are adding all these numbers together.
Okay.
So do you want me to start again?
No, I have you 50K, 70K, 25K.
Yes, and then 20K for the 2 employees for the first month.
Yes.
And then 20K for the business owner.
Yes.
1,000 rand to buy the phones.
Yes.
5,000 rand to pay for the first month's usage of the phones.
Yes.
45K for computers.
Yes.
And then 7,000 for marketing, both social media and pamphlets for that first month. What's our total?
Yeah, that's 253.
253,000, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So we are selling each bottle of tablets for 200 rand, yeah? So please divide 253,000 by 200 rand. So does everybody follow what we're doing so far? Just raise your hand so we can see if you are following. If you're not following, please send a heart.
Sorry, it's 1,265.
So 253,000 divided by 200 is?
1,265.
1,265, yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So what this means is we would have to sell 1,265 bottles, packets of Corenza C in order for us to be able to pay for the first month of running a business. For the second month. Actually, that first month we are going in with 250,000 and 53,000. That's what we.
Please repeat that.
So if you divide the total cost of running your business, of setting up your business, by the average price of your product, you get the number of units you need to sell for you to break even, i.e., for you to be able to pay for all your costs of running a business for the first month.
Okay.
You follow so far?
Yeah, but is this for the first month?
Yeah. So this is for the second month. So hold on. We're gonna get there, Jessica. So what we're doing now is, we said, when we started, somebody, an angel gave us 253,000. We did all we needed to do to set up. So I want you to make a note of that. We needed 253,000 to start. Now, while we are selling these sets of tablets for 200 Rand, it means in our first month of operation, we would need to sell 1,265 of them so that we've got money to operate in the second month. Well, so actually that's different. We would need to sell 1,265 for us to break even, i.e. recoup our investment. Everybody follow so far? Okay, perfect. Now, let's talk about the second month. In the second month, we are paying rent for 70,000. Ati, you're going to calculate this for us again?
Yes.
Okay, we are paying rent for 70,000. Okay,
Yes.
we are paying our employees and the business owner 40,000 in total.
Yes.
We are paying 5,000 rands in telephone costs.
Yes.
We are paying 5,000 rands for social media marketing. What's the total?
Yeah. 120.
120,000.
120K.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now we've got, so the price of a Corenza C pack of tablets is 200 Rand. So let's divide 120,000 by 200 Rand. Everybody,
It's 600.
it's 600, eh?
Yes.
Okay. Does everybody follow so far what we're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So that means in order for us to operate in the second month, we need to make 120,000 in the first month. That means we need to sell 600 units of tablets. Now, here's my question to you. Do you think we are going to be able to sell 600 units of tablets in the first month of operation? How long do you think it will take us?
3 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
It could be longer since people don't know their plates, so they need to familiarize themselves to be comfortable with the products you're selling.
Okay.
People don't ask stuff they don't know.
Okay. So essentially, okay. So, Ghost, do you want to go ahead and ask your question before we continue?
No, it's not a question. It's a response to your question of, do I think we would be able to sell 600? I think for me, it would depend on the level of marketing that
No, I need you to commit.
put out.
Because I need you to commit. I need you to commit to a number. How long? I need you to commit. Noted, Jessica. I'll come to you. I need you to commit to a timeline. How long do you think it's going to take us to sell 600 units in a month?
3, 2.
Okay, so
Marketing 3.
let's say 3 months. Jessica, you want to add something? Mangaka noted?
Yeah, for me, I think it's possible because you know, the reason why I said Corenza C is because I'm looking at the peak, because now with going into winter and we're opening this business now, right?
Yes.
So obviously, whatever business that we're going to be operating, we've looked into the gaps and we're trying to fill those gaps. So it's winter now. A lot of people are going to be catching the cold and COVID cases will be going high. So Corenza seeds is one of the medication that helps out with flu. So that's my take. I think we can.
Perfect. Okay. Mangaka, you wanted to add something? Or you're fine?
Yes, I was going to align myself with Jessica's view.
Okay.
It will depend according to the season.
Okay.
If it is winter season, we can even surpass the 600.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So what you ladies are saying to me is we are going to need to trade for 3 months before we reach our 600 units in sales. Correct? Now, how are we surviving in the first 3 months of sales then? Where are we going to get the 120,000 rands to put into the business up until the point where we break even, i.e., up until the point where we sell 600 units, which is just enough to cover our costs? How are we surviving?
Investor capital.
Okay. Well, you can't cut costs when you don't have money. So that's the question I'm asking. Where is this money going to come from?
I'm thinking investor capital.
Okay.
Like owner's equity.
Okay. So let's count that. Ne? So when we set up our business, Ati, are you ready with our calculator?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So we haki bets noted. Apologize, sorry for slaying your name like this. Ati, so when we started our business, we needed 253,000. So please add that 253,000.
Okay, add it to.
Just have it added to your calculator.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yes.
And then add 120,000 for the first month.
Yes.
Add another 120,000 for the second month.
Yes.
Add another 120,000 for the third month.
Yes.
How much do we end up with?
610K.
610K. Yeah? So that means in order for us to set up our pharmacy, excuse me, it's going to cost us 610K to set up and for us to trade in the first 3 months until we get to our break-even number, i.e. we sell 600 units. So this is the kind of exercise that the 10-minute guide walks you through. So it doesn't matter whether it's a side hustle, whether it's a spaza shop, whether you're selling sweets or selling nails, if you don't do this calculation and you underestimate the resources you need, you end up in a situation where you need to make 50,000, but you're not making 50,000 and you've got no money to get your business through the second month of trade. We Haki Bets 32, the floor is yours. Please also just tell me how to pronounce your name better. How your name is pronounced. Sorry.
Betty, it's Betty Mwehaki.
Oh, Betty Mwehaki.
You said how you.
Go ahead, Betty. Sorry, Betty, I can't hear you. Do you want to try again?
Yes.
Yeah, so you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I was saying you will have taken a loan. You had pointed out the 3 months.
Yes.
how will we get through the 3 months?
Yes.
So my point is, you will take a loan.
Yes.
So not calculated well as said earlier.
Yes.
You will have to be in debt.
Yes.
Or to let the business sink.
Yes.
Or you just have to take a loan.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that was my point.
Absolutely. So now the point of this exercise, ladies and gentlemen, was to help illustrate for you, number one, what it actually costs to start a business. When people say start with what you have, they are not giving you actionable advice. What people are actually doing is they are motivating you. They are trying to get you out of bed so you can walk around and do something. When you actually want to and need to start a business, this is the kind of thought process that you have to go through. You've got to figure out how much it's going to cost you to set up and how much it's going to cost you to operate your business until it becomes profitable, i.e., it can fund itself. This is the reality of starting a business. And if you undercalculate, that's when you get punched hard in the face. And this is the kind of technical knowledge and technical understanding that we're trying to introduce into sort of mass market across the continent. To say, you've got to understand the process of building a business, walking through those steps. So even the choice of deciding where to locate that business, are we putting it in the suburbs or are we putting it in the township? Are we putting it in a mall or are we putting it in a garage? Why are we choosing pamphlets and social media? Why aren't we using billboards? Why aren't we using something else, SMS marketing, for instance? Noted, Jessica, I'll come to you now. So all of those choices are choices you've got to walk through technically step by step. It can't be something you leave to chance, to sort of leave to the ether of God or, you know, the universe. Jessica?
Okay, yes. So in terms of asking for a loan, so when you ask for a loan sorry guys, let me just move on from this room. It's not too much company. Go to another room. So I was asking if for a startup company, because now you don't have anything.
Yes.
Will you get any loan? Are there any sources where you get loan for a startup, or they give you a loan as per what you're making as a business?
So let me throw this question back to you, Neil. Let's say you and I don't know, well, you and I don't know each other actually. So let's say I come to you, Jessica, and I say, hey, Jessica, I need 200 Rand. What's your next question? Or what do you say to you? What's your reaction to me when I ask you for 200 Rand?
How are you planning to paying it back to me?
Absolutely. Okay, so I need 200 Rand. Your first question is, how are you going to pay it back? What do you expect from me as an answer? As someone who's giving me the 200 Rand.
I'm expecting you to give me the exact date as to when you're going to be able to pay it back.
A date, what else?
Are you going to pay it back into installments, or are you going to pay it back in cash?
Okay. What else? What else do you want to know?
I need some sort of like an agreement between us.
Okay, what else? Remember, you don't know me. I come to you after this call and I say, I need 200 Rand. Please loan me. So you need a date of payback.
How much you're worth currently.
How much I'm worth?
Yeah, I need to know how much you're worth currently.
Perfect. Which is my net worth or my assets?
Yeah.
Okay.
Your net worth or assets.
Okay, so that's beautiful. Okay. So if I say to you, I want to put this 200 Rand into my book business, what's your next question?
How your book business, how established is your book business and how is it doing in the market? Is it selling, or is it a new book, or is it an existing product?
Why do those things matter to you? As you personally, so as someone who's going to give me that 200 rand.
Because I need assurance that you'll be in a position to be able to pay me.
Okay, perfect. So, okay, perfect. Thanks for that, Jessica. Yeah, we can hear you. Can you still hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So all these things that you would have required of me, Jessica, is exactly what funders need from. Exactly. So typically what a funder will say to you is, when are you going to become profitable and how much profit are you going to make? Remember at the start of our conversation, I said you need to be able to make enough profit for savings, investment, and reward. Which means the amount of profit you make matters. So these exact same requirements you would need to know from someone you're loaning money to is exactly what funders need from. And this kind of information, this kind of thinking is the kind of information 3 types of people should care about. The first type of person who should care about this information is someone who's owned a business before and has failed. And you don't know what you did wrong. You failed once or several times. You've been through the sort of emotional turmoil of recovering from that, and you're ready to start again. You need this kind of thought process, this kind of information to help you course correct and figure out what to do right. Now, the second group of people that need this kind of information is wannabe entrepreneurs. You are still thinking about it. You aren't an entrepreneur yet. You're scared. You're doubtful. People around you discourage you. One of the most important things you'll discover, or you have discovered, I'm sure you see it all over social media, is if you want advice about running a business, owning a business, or being an employer, don't ask people who don't have businesses or have never run businesses. You are not going to ask a plumber for medical advice, just like you're not going to ask an engineer for banking advice, unless that engineer runs a bank. Okay? The reason you don't do that is because people who have never run a business, people who don't own a business, do not understand the ins and outs, even if that person is your husband and you've been married for 40 years. And the reason that is because every day you are under a pressure cooker. You've got to worry about your employees, your suppliers, the rates, the taxes, your customers, your supply, the quality of your clothes, your marketing, and dealing with angry customers. And you've got to worry about your cash flow, your profitability, and the future of your business, and you've got to worry about your family. So that person does not have the same pressures as you. So one point I want to illustrate is currently it's 25 to 9. It's a Friday afternoon. We're in a space we're discussing entrepreneurship. I enjoy doing this because this is something I'm passionate about. But if you started a business just so you could survive, this is the kind of thing you would have to do whether you like it or not. And imagine how terrible it is to spend your time on a Friday evening. You are putting in the work, you're putting your back into it for something you don't really care that much about. So this is the kind of technical thinking you have to take your mind through if you want to be an entrepreneur. Find the right places to get advice. Remove yourself, at least mentally, from the surroundings that discourage you. It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be doubtful. But fear and doubt occur because there are gaps in your knowledge that it's missing. You've got knowledge gaps. Yeah, but English is escaping me. So you've got knowledge gaps, and noted those. There are gaps in your knowledge, and you need to plug those. And as you plug those, you become less and less scared. And the third group of people who should care about this kind of knowledge are new entrepreneurs. You've recently started your business. You've got the energy. It's your first time. You're excited. New entrepreneurs are very skeptical. However, It's also important as a new entrepreneur to dot your I's and cross your T's. The most important thing for a new entrepreneur is to drive sales for your business, for your product or service. But how do you drive sales? How do you make sure you make those sales? What do you need to do? That kind of technical knowledge that goes behind making sales, the steps you need to take, that's what you need to focus on. Close. Close, the floor is yours.
I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if Close had a hand up, so I'm not too sure if she can hear us. Okay.
I think she's been speaking, sir.
Can you hear Close?
Yeah, we can.
Oh, I cannot hear a single thing. What's a question or what's a comment? Close, do you want to mute and unmute your microphone and let's see if that will help? Let's try again. Sure, still can't hear you. Can anyone else hear me? Maybe let's start there. Okay.
We can hear you.
Okay. Close. I'm going to ask you to exit the space and come back in again, please. I know it's probably not your fault, but I'm not too sure what's going on. Okay, so what's the problem that we're solving? What are we trying to solve for? So what we're looking to do is the problem we have on this continent and just globally is that the failure rate for new businesses is 8 and in some places 9 out of 10. That means for every 10 businesses that are started, 9 of them are not going to survive past the first year. So what we are solving for is the fact that entrepreneurship is a technical field of expertise, but there is no knowledge flow. What that means is there isn't a common understanding of what the basics are, what the fundamentals are. And that's what we're solving with the 10-minute guide. And that's what this conversation is about. To say, on this continent, let's build a knowledge flow so everybody has the same understanding of what's required to build a profitable business. And so what we've done to solve that problem, we've put together the 10-minute guide to starting a business. But this guide is about how to build a profitable business. So it's divided into 5 sections, 25 chapters in total. The first 5 sections, sections 1 to 5, are about the kinds of entrepreneurs that exist: survivalist, lifestyle, social entrepreneurs, high impact entrepreneurs, investor entrepreneurs. You've got to figure out which one you are and where you fit in so you understand what you need to do. So that's the first thing you need to do. The second thing you need to do is, the second aspect that's dealt with in chapters 1 to 5 is the realities of running a business. Okay. We also then look at how to identify commercially viable business opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, good ideas do not make good businesses at all. Solving recurring customer problems does. People don't pay you because they like your idea. People pay you because you are solving a problem for them. And that's what real business building is about. And so in the first 5 chapters, specifically in chapter 4, we walk you through the process of identifying a commercially viable business opportunity. And there's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, between an opportunity and a business opportunity. An opportunity is a once-off thing. It's raining, people don't have umbrellas, I'm going to sell umbrellas to them, and you're done. A A business opportunity is, it's always hot, it's always sunny throughout the year. People need hats every single day. I'm going to sell hats because at least I can sell one hat a day. So a business opportunity is a recurring opportunity that allows you to make money on a recurring basis. We also look at how to identify and target your ideal customers. So all of that is in chapters 1 to 5. Chapters 6 to 10 are about laying the foundation, how to do effective research for business building, how to calculate the cost of setting up and operating a business, which we've just done together, pricing, how to do it effectively to ensure profitability. A lot of people get this thing wrong. The way you make sure you make profit, i.e. enough profit to cover your savings, your investment, and your reward, is it starts with your pricing. If you underprice, you kill your business before it even starts. You'll see one of the sections in the 10-minute guide says, especially in your first 3 years, never give discounts. And you can get away with not giving discounts if you're selling your solution to the person that has the problem that you're solving. If you're trying to sell your solution to everybody, then you're going to have situations where you're negotiating prices left, right, and center. But if you identify a problem to solve and you offer your solution to the person that has the problem, people won't even question why they are paying 200 Rand for a set of vitamin C tablets. People will just pay for them. Chapters 11 to 15 are about building the business, how to add value to your customers. Adding value also affects your pricing. The more unique, the more value you add through your service or through your products, and the more unique they are, the higher you're able to set your prices because you're unique and you're different from everybody else, and no one can get what you're giving. We also look at how to get off the ground, and most importantly, how to use technology effectively for reach to support and service your customers. And then in chapters 16 to 20, we look at growing the business, planning for growth, how to do it effectively, marketing your product or service. And the way you market your product, your service, you don't say, hi, my name is before you start and I'm a publishing company. No, you sell your solution first, and then you tell people about your company. So, hi, everybody. We've got a book that teaches people how to build profitable businesses. Okay. So when someone is looking to know or to learn how to build a profitable business, they now have a solution. And then when they come to me and we talk, then I can tell them about my company. Sell your solution first. And then the last aspect of chapters 16 to 20 is how to hire the right people. I will tell you this, just because somebody has a degree, even in MBA, doesn't mean they're smart, and it doesn't mean they're the right person to hire. Running a small business is like being in Fight Club. Note it, calls. I'll come to you. Running a small business is like being in Fight Club, being in the ring every day. You've got to hire people who can roll with the punches, people who can think on their feet, people who don't need you to follow them around. And quite often what you'll find is people with qualifications, or people, the more learned somebody is, the more organization and structure they need. They are more suitable for a big business where they get told what to do, rather than think on their feet. So it's critically important who you hire. So we deal with that with chapters 16 to 20. And then chapters 21 to 25 are about sustainability. First, the non-negotiables, what you need to look at when you build your business. The second component that we look at in that section is getting advice and where to get the right advice. And then we close off the book by talking about how to choose the right business partner. You don't partner up with people just because someone is your lover, someone is your best friend, or you are interested in the same idea. You partner up with people who bring and offer value to help grow your business over the long term. Rose, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Can you hear me now?
Now I can hear you perfectly.
Okay. What you said a lot, and I wanted to
think most Black people, they start businesses, but they don't grow. For example, you got your Shoprite, your Pick and Pay, and things like that, which I believe everything big today started off small. So we grow up in communities whereby we know there's a tuck shop or man,
Mhm.
but it never grows to be big as other Shoprite and whatever not, whether it's salons or whether it's or selling outside of school. Like, where do you think we miss it in our communities?
Okay.
Yeah, I'd like to hear you. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That's a brilliant question. Okay, so I'll come to it now. So let me wrap up this aspect. So essentially what this book is a tool to help you build. Number one, it introduces you to the fundamentals of entrepreneurship. Number two, it introduces you to how to lay the foundation for building a business. Number three, it walks you through the process of building your business. Number four, the book walks you through the process of growing your business. And number five, how to ensure sustainability. And that, in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen, is how we're helping people build profitable businesses. What we are looking to do is get this book in the hands of 1 million people in the next 5 years, starting in February this year. So we can help create 1 million new businesses, 5 million jobs, and at least ensure that each business is generating 20,000 rands a month. And we are calling that effort the Challenge 1 Million campaign. And as part of that campaign, we then decided what we're going to do is we're going to break it down into bits and pieces. Now, there's two aspects of it. Those aspects are the leave no one behind component of our campaign, which is our partnership with Timber. Timber has got such a big reach, and he's got some of those qualities that people admire in him, but that's also very common in successful entrepreneurs. And because of his reach and the qualities he's got, what makes him so appealing, makes him the ideal partner for us to partner with to drive reach for our leave no one behind. Because what it does is, and what it has done is, it's enabled us to reach such a large population of people we never had access to before. And that's what our work is about, reaching people in every corner of the continent, every corner of the country, where it makes sense. Second part of our work, the second component of our Challenge 1 Million campaign, is something we call Project 200. We're looking to put sponsored copies of the book into the hands of 200,000 grade 11, grade 12 kids and TVET college students. One, it makes sense to empower TVET students because that's where our artisans are trained, and we need artisans. Those people are the bedrock of our economy, the bedrock, the fundament. These are the people who build our economies. The structures that we see, the things that we use, the machinery, the equipment, the technology, these are the people that build them. And we need to make sure that those people know how to convert their skill set into a wealth-generating asset. High scholars, I'll tell you, I was a very average kid. I was my daughter's score 50, 51. School didn't interest me. Sports sometimes. And kids nowadays have got very few options that stimulate their minds and encourage them to go in a productive direction. And so what we want to do is we want to give kids a third way. And so what we're doing now is we're speaking to business owners, we're speaking to people with the means. In fact, anybody's welcome to say, listen, get a copy for the school library, the school you went to, the kids in your community. Let's make sure that those kids have a third way, have a third option. And let's make sure we build that. And that, in a nutshell, that's the work we're doing. And that's what we're looking to do over the next 5 years. And this is why I tweeted yesterday that this is just the beginning of what we're doing. We are fundamentally going to change how people think about entrepreneurship and the effect that we're going to have on this economy locally and regionally when we've got people who actually know and understand how to build a profitable business is huge, because then suddenly you'll be able to find that people in communities can employ their own. Which nicely brings me to Polly's question. Why is it that Black people don't seem to be able to grow, progress in their businesses? So it's got nothing to do with race, number one. Excuse me. It's got nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with why people start a business. Remember, a lot of the businesses that were started in our communities in the past and currently, it's because people are unable to find dignified employment, but they still need to put food on the table. So when people set up a business, it's got nothing to do with growth, entrepreneurship, self-development, private jets, or wanting a Lamborghini. It's about, my kids are hungry, my kids need to go to school. I'm hungry. I need clothes on my back. I need to put food on the table. And the thing about running a business is you can't half commit, because just when you are relaxed and you think, no, I'll be able to sell, 10 bottles of, let's say I'll be able to sell 600 bottles of Corenza C every month, and, and I'll do just fine in my pharmacy. All of a sudden, Corona hits, and now you've got 6,000 people every day wanting Corenza C's. Now you are stuck in your business. What you see in your communities are people who started a business to put food on the table, and now they're stuck. Because this is the thing that now puts food on the table. But they don't really want to be here. They're just doing it because it's a survival thing. And because there is nobody else who can support them, it's hard for them to stop thinking about sales, how I'm going to make money today, and think about strategy and think about growth. Because behind growth, behind strategy, is you've got to understand how to build a business. People who start businesses mostly don't start it because they understand. They start it because they want food on the table. People like ShopRite and all these guys, these are people who understand how to build businesses. The comparison we make here is an unfair, it's apples and oranges. Apples and oranges. Doesn't matter the community you go in, Jewish, Black, Indian, Muslim, there's always people who are stuck in their businesses and can't grow it. On the outside, when you're looking in, it looks organized, but I can promise you behind that counter, it's absolute chaos. So and the reason you may think that it's just a Black thing is because of, the kinds of communities you're exposed to. It's a global phenomenon. This is why the failure rate in businesses globally is 9 out of 10. Because people who start businesses don't start them because they're excited about entrepreneurship. They love challenges. They want to self-actualize. It's about food on the table now, today. My wife is going to leave me if I don't put food on the table. My family is going to starve. My kids are going to starve. So what we're saying here is, ladies and gents, is let's empower those people who have to put food on the table with the knowledge and the tools they need to build profitable businesses so they've got options down the line. People are already there. That's what needs to happen. People are already there. This thing of, wishful thinking and talking all day, that's not going to work. It hasn't worked. It's about taking action. And this brings me nicely to one of my last few points. Brand and building a brand. You hear people say this a lot. Brand, ladies and gentlemen, is reputation. That term simply means a reputation. And the way you build a reputation is you provide a great product or service, you offer customers great support, and you're consistent. Let me tell you, one of the things that cripples new entrepreneurs is perfection. You don't have to be perfect. Your product doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be complete. Your customer will help you improve their product through their suggestions and their comments, which is why you need to always pay attention to your customer, offer them great support, and engage them. And if you do that consistently, your customer will give you feedback to help you improve your product. Remember, you are solving a problem for someone. So people then need to tell you how to develop the right solution that fits them perfectly. And when you do that, they are willing to pay anything. People pay 15 million rand for a Rolls Royce because it solves a problem for them. That problem is, I need to let everyone know that I've made it. And nothing says I've made it than a 15 million rand car. So when you say, I want to build a brand or I'm building a brand, what you are actually saying is, and what you should be doing is offering great service or a great product and supporting your customers in a consistent way every single day. Pumzile, you've got a question?
Thank you very much. Good evening. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, clearly.
Maybe you might have already stated what I'm going to ask because I joined the space late. Maybe just as a context, I grew up with a mother who used small opportunities. I mean, she would go a pen in Alex in the mornings. Then one day she came back with a sack here of salt.
Mm-hmm.
And then I asked her how. And then the sack of salt, what's up? She's like, no, there are ladies there that are selling food. I mean, they do peanuts and whatever. And buying salt from a Freedom or any of those shops is expensive. So I'm going to package the salt and I'm going to sell it to them every morning. And she actually did that and we were able to survive. She put us through school. And you know, on the other side, I have never been one to get into business. As a former bureaucrat, politician, you in life you build social currency.
Yes.
And now I find myself with an opportunity just a couple of days ago that just came knocking. And I'm not ready for it, but I'm going into it head first.
Okay.
And I feel as though I am starting backwards because of now it is here. By Monday, I will have 3 people that I would have employed. Tomorrow, my bike is going to be delivered. And I need to make sure that I am up and running. And I just hit the ground running. And I just wanted to check if the book would be able to assist me. Because I feel as though I'm starting backwards.
Yeah.
I'm not starting from the premise of setting up, doing all those things and then opportunities. But because of the social currency, this opportunity just landed. And
absolutely.
Yeah, so this is one of the challenges that I have. Yes, I've got other ideas and whatever else not, but with this one, I want to believe that in 6 months I will have the second back. I'll be able to put the second team on the ground. So yeah.
So that's brilliant because what you highlight is I don't know, did you put me on speaker or something? Okay. So that's brilliant because you highlight a situation where you are taking advantage of a recurring problem that you're going to solve through whatever service you provide. Now, the book is absolutely going to help you. What you are doing now is you are moving as fast as you can, as efficiently as possible, to take advantage of this opportunity. What the book will do is it would guide you through the things that you need to do now that you are in this space. Whether or not you planned when you started your business, you still need to figure out how much it's going to cost you to run your business mastermind, how much you need to do in sales. You still need to do that calculation. You still need to make sure that the pricing that you're giving your customer is sufficient to allow you to make a profit so you can reinvest in your business, so you can have something to reward your employees with at the end of the year. So also, you've got savings for a rainy day, savings to get that second buck. So what the book does is, for someone like you who's taken advantage of an opportunity has started, it would allow you to not only course correct, but build structure and implement structure in the way you are building and running your business. You need to figure out where you are adding value above and beyond for being. Disco file noted. Excuse me. You need to figure that out. And here's, just hold on. And here's what I'm going to do, Punzilin. buy the book, read it. Yeah. If you buy the book and you read it and you implement the guidance and it doesn't work, not only am I going to refund you, I'm going to pay for dinner for you and your employees.
Wow, thank you.
How's that?
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember one of my lectures, Dr. Sikufumari saying, any material you get, make sure you read it 3 times over. Don't assume after reading it the first time you understand. So
you know,
I'll take you up on that.
You know what? The mistake that people should not make with the 10-minute guide is, this is not theory. If you don't implement what it's telling you, then of course you're not going to get the results. It's about, let me read chapter 1 and do exactly as chapter 1 says. One of the things, Pumzile, you're going to need to figure out which chapter 1 covers is what kind of entrepreneur are you? Are you a lifestyle or are you a high growth entrepreneur? Lifestyle is, I just want to make 40,000 rands a month in income and relax. High growth is, I want to grow until I'm making 10 million rand a month. Because those two types of entrepreneurs require different kinds of resources, different kinds of thinking, different kinds of processes, different kinds of employees. So up front, as soon as you open that first chapter of the book, you are now confronted with a decision you have to make. This go far? Hey, Zulu.
Yeah, it's a great pleasure to be here listening to what you're saying about the book. Of course, one of the fortunate ones, we have read it a couple of times and sincerely resonate with the contents of the book. So I wanted to just comment on Paul's in terms of what she was asking about earlier, and also maybe what Pumzile is also talking about. So I've read the book many times, but for me, there's always this chapter 11 of the book, and which talks about adding value, and also the chapter 17 of the book, which talks about planning for growth. So I think mostly for Paul's question, you know, a lot of the challenge that we get with the businesses that have served us for a very long time in our communities, that we find it hard to adapt to continue to serving the customer's needs in terms of what the customer wants. As a small example, if you have a spaza or you've been running a small business in the location or in your community, most customers that you've been serving, when their disposable income grows, they normally want a diversification of the goods that they can use in their households. And if as an entrepreneur, as a business person, you are stuck in only providing a specific line of goods or services, then it means that you are no longer adding value, and therefore you are no longer adapting. So in essence, reading, you know, what the customer wants becomes a very important aspect of progression, of growing your business, and generally of adding value. So for us, as a business and as a support system to a lot of entrepreneurs and businesses, we always seek to understand if we're still relevant in terms of adding the value, and also are we ready to adapt to the next level of the customer's needs. I think that's something that's very critical that the book talks about as well. But generally, overall, the book is very great, as Sandy so puts it. So that's what I would say, Pauls, and maybe Pumzile must also just look at in those 2 chapters, but overall, read everything. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Zoe. Betty, you have you've got a question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, Betty.
I wanted to know how I can get the book, because I'm in Kenya.
Okay.
Yes.
So, do you prefer a hard copy or ebook? Is an ebook okay with you?
I'm okay with any, so long as I get the book.
Okay.
And actually, I'm grateful about you mentioned about pricing.
Mm-hmm.
It's something that I've also noticed in many businesses. Today they have this price, tomorrow they have a different price. meaning they didn't check their accounts well, so they realize they are running short and they're making losses. Then that's when they start to raise the prices, which now makes the customers angry because maybe you got the wrong customers, you got the cheaper customers who can't support your business.
Yes.
Then now, yeah.
Absolutely.
It seems like you're taking advantage of your customers.
Yes, absolutely. So let's talk about access first, Name. Can you do me a favor,
Yes.
Betty, now? Are you familiar with an ebook platform called Kobo? Kobo.
No, I don't know Kobo. I know Light Reader.
Okay, Barnes and Noble, Scribed.
Kobo.
Kobo.com. Yeah.
Kobo.
Yeah.
Kobo.com.
Yeah, Kobo.
Okay.
Mangaka, I've
Thank
noted.
you.
So, but here's the thing, I'm not done though. So what I'd like you to do, Betty, is check which one of the followings you've got access to. First, check Kobo.com.
Okay. Yes.
The second one, check.
Kobo.com.
Yeah. And
Yes.
the second one, Barnes and Noble.
Barnes and Noble.
Yes.
Okay.
The third one, Scribed.
Yes. Scribed.
Yeah. And then the fourth one.
Just Scribed.
Yeah, it's SCRIBD, no E.
Okay. Okay.
And then what device are you using, Android or Apple?
Android.
Okay. And then check Odilo. Odilo.
Odilo.
Yeah.
How is it spelled? Yes.
Odilo.
Yes. LO.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So what I'd like you to
Thank
do
you.
is first check Kobo and then please DM me. Name. So what we're doing is we're moving people away from using Amazon Kindle. The reason we're doing that, is because Amazon only pays us 35% of the price of the book. So they take 65%. So
that's a lot.
yeah, so we don't play those kinds of games. So we're gonna shift away from that. So if you've got access to Kobo, we'll DM me and then we'll send you purchase instructions.
Okay.
For everyone that wants to buy a book and you are in South Africa, an ebook, if you check my last 2 tweets, there is instructions on how to buy Kobo locally. The first of my last 2 tweets this evening. Mangaka, you had a question?
Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Mr. Ngube and Discoper. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Really, this lecture today changed my mindset about entrepreneurship because one never thought that it could be this technical. Most of us fear to venture into entrepreneurship because we fear of the new entrants into the market and also competition.
Yes.
Not having thought of research and making a wish list, as you have alluded to.
Yes.
Secondly, I would like to commend you. It is highly commendable that you are looking at introducing this to TVET colleges, but it should also be extended to high school, maybe starting with grade 10 to 12, and be coupled with school curriculum. My question is, how far are you in advocating this to schools or Department of Education? Thank you.
Okay, perfect. So we'll definitely take that into consideration. Initially, with Project 200, we're only looking at grade 11s to 12. But consistently, I'm getting people saying, I want to buy this book for my 13-year-old, for my 12-year-old, for my 14-year-old. Is it suitable? And it is. The thing about younger kids is they need your parental support or they need guardian support to help them through the process. One of the things that happens when you start using the 10-minute guide, especially if you're a kid who's never dealt with a lot of money, is when they find success, they make a lot of money and then they don't know what to do with themselves. And that's where guardian support becomes important. Now, in terms of introducing to our curriculum, absolutely, that's a long-term goal for us across the continent. However, we are at a growth phase in our business. So we're focused on making sales, growing the business, and supporting our customers. And because we're such a small team, we have not had the conversations with the Department of Education because we don't have that social capital. There are two ways to get into offices with corporate people and with people in government. It's either you've got the social capital, i.e. a connection or somebody that can facilitate a warm introduction, which we welcome, and we're willing to give you a fee if you'd like. Or you can go through the regular way, send an email, pick up the phone, and that generally takes 6 to 9 months. From a business growth perspective, personally, I'm not willing to have my team at this point in, because our business is still young, I'm not willing to have our team invest in trying to get government business because of the amount of hurdles that we have to go through. Right now, we are more focused on our customer, which is regular, ordinary people, and supporting them. We're starting there. Because having to try and convince somebody who's comfortable that kids need this is much more difficult than just putting the book in the hands of a kid and saying, listen, why don't you try and work this out? So look, it's a great suggestion, but that's something we're looking at long term. It's definitely not in our short-term plans. For now, we are working with what we can control. And I would encourage all sort of new business owners. Your first 3 years, like for us, it's about making sure we're making a profit. We've developed proper, structured customer support processes, and we're giving customers the support consistently that they need. So that's our current focus. And however, we are open to building relationships with people so that people become part of our sales channels and part of our social networks. The most important thing for us is to leverage social networks to get the book as widely as possible. So if you're one of those people, whether it's Betty in Kenya or somebody else somewhere in another country or in another region, inbox me, let's have a conversation. The idea is 1 million people in 5 years. So we make sure that our communities are able to stand on their own. So that's something that's most important to us. So let's talk about now decision-making. Let me wrap up now, and then we're going to open it to everybody, if you guys are still willing to ask questions and chat. So how do you know whether or not this book is right for you? There's two ways of figuring out. Number one, if you don't know what you don't know, then you need to figure out what you don't know. And this book will tell you what you don't know. Secondly, if you are the kind of person who thinks, whether or not you own a business currently, but if in your mind you say, I know enough to start and run a profitable business, you need this book. The reason you need this book, if you think you know enough, is because you are wrong. Nobody on their own knows enough to start and run a profitable business. Even if you did, you still need other people to help you do it and help you execute. I can do my own marketing, but I'm not a marketing specialist. And now because our business is operational and I have to focus on driving sales and driving growth and driving customer support, I've got zero time to be posting on social media daily and creating content. So if you fall within any one of those two brackets, you don't know what you don't know, or you think you know enough, that's just a signal that this is the kind of information you need. What I'll also point out to you that you may have noticed through the media, through social media, is successful entrepreneurs will always say, number one, I don't know. Number two, tell me more. Because there's always a chance that the other person knows more than you do about a specific thing. I make sure I surround myself with very clever people, specialists or other business owners. And I listen, because you'll find, excuse me, if you've got a friend who's a marketing specialist, listen to them, because that person gets paid a lot of money to do what they do, and you're getting free guidance. Let them do it. Let them do your marketing thinking if they want to. It's got nothing to do with ego. And very often as business owners, we like to want to control everything, throw our weight, and and make sure that we show that who's boss. But that doesn't work if you want to build a profitable business. You've got to hire the right people, surround yourself with the right people, get the right advice. So additionally, ladies and gentlemen, my last tweet you'll see is a tweet where I say, if you are thinking about starting a business, if you run a business, if you have a new business, as long as your business is between 0 and 3 years old, and you want special offers on, or you need lists of tools, free tools that entrepreneurs can use, you want information on discounts, features, tools, or you want avenues for accessing funding, there's a link to Google Forms in that tweet. Okay, that's my last tweet just before the space. So at about 7:15 or so. Please complete that form. One of the things we've got access to is a network of both local and international technology businesses that design products specifically to support entrepreneurs. And those products, some of those products are available to entrepreneurs for free. And so what we do is we try and make sure we get those products to entrepreneurs. So if you visit, for instance, our website, you will find that there's a resources page. If you visit our website, it's very easy to access it on the desktop. You'll find there's a resources page. I'm also going to tweet that resources page. There's a list of cheap or free resources that you can use as an entrepreneur to build a business, i.e., technology tools that you can leverage for reach and efficiency. So that Google form in my tweet, if you want us to send you stuff that will help you grow your business, of course, at no charge. Well, I mean, we're not going to charge you to send you that information. Please sign up and let us know. What we want to do is we don't just want to give you the 10-minute guide and say, hey, go build your business. It's important for us that we offer you support, services, and tools to help you do it. We have built our business almost virtually on free and cheap tools. I had a conversation with someone who said to me, it's very expensive to start a publishing business and there's no money in it. And I said, okay, that's okay. However, if you start a publishing business and you leverage technology the way we have done, the results are completely different. And this applies in any business, whether you're an accountant, whether you're a lawyer, you're a marketing consultant, you've got to be able to use technology in the right way. And so that's what we're looking to do. So sign up for that Google form, go to our website, check out the resources page, and then let's get you going. So one of the businesses that we've got a relationship with is a business that helps entrepreneurs, at least who have been trading for 3 months and longer. This business helps those entrepreneurs access funding, even when that business does not have a credit record. They've got a way in which they do it. So you can access working capital as long as you've got a bank statement. So that's something we can definitely give you access to. So these are the kinds of things that we'd like to give you guys as a community. So I, ladies and gentlemen, have spoken enough. The floor is yours now. You can ask questions, offer comments, and we can take it from there. I am going to ask for a 3-minute break right now. I just want to go to the little boys' room quickly, and then I'll come back and then we will answer all your questions. Okay. So Delia, are you still there? Delia? Cos, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Cos. So I'm going to leave this space in charge, with you in charge of the space for 3 minutes, eh? I'll be right back. So please note anyone, just see if anyone raises their hand. Is that okay? Can we rely on you?
Okay, I can't handle it. I can't do it.
Fantastic. See you in 3 minutes.
Okay.
I'm just going to mute my mic, but I'm going to stay here.
All right.
It's a big responsibility, Paul.
Yeah.
But interesting content, guys. I'm sure we can talk a bit about what it is that Sunday So is trying to empower us with. And I think it will go a long way in terms of helping every entrepreneur. I mean, it's a long shot to have such a huge target of 5 million entrepreneurs in 5 years. But if you've got belief and and the focus, I think it can be done. And I think anyone here who's not an entrepreneur, who's got ambitions of being an entrepreneur, can also start by reading the book, implementing, the book on a go along as you read basis, and see what it is that maybe you can realize. I think there's an opportunity for all of us here to achieve something through the book.
Jessica, yes, I have a question from host. What's his name again?
Sandy, so I'm back. Sandy, so.
Sandy, so.
Yes.
Sandy, so.
Yes.
Are you back?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, so I wanted to
Thanks,
know
Paul.
if in your book there's a chapter that sorry?
Yeah. No, I'm listening.
Okay, so I wanted to know that in your book, is there a chapter where it focuses mainly on, mentorship or coaching?
Yes. Okay, that's a perfect question. Yes, there is. I just do not. So it's chapter. I'll tell you now. It should be chapter 23 or 24 on getting advice. So what the chapter does is it outlines who you should get advice from, how you should think about getting advice, and the importance of building a community or a team of people you get advice from. Because not all advice is equal. And you don't want to be caught in a situation where your worst advice is advice. Okay, because you're asking somebody who's not an entrepreneur for entrepreneur advice. Look, people mean well. Jessica noted, I know you had your hand up. People mean well. Okay, it's not that people want to harm you or people are jealous. No, people just don't know any better. And when people see you suffering because you can't figure something out, their immediate instinct is to tell you to do something so you don't suffer anymore. So it's not that they are discouraging you. It's just that they are sharing information so they don't see you suffer because they love you and they care about you. However, if you come to Sunday So and you say, listen, I want to build an app to support my pharmacy. How do you think I should do it? Then I'm going to say, let's sit down and let's discuss it. But if you go to someone who doesn't own a business, has never owned or run a business, they're going to say, Why do you need an app? Like, what kind of pharmacy has an app? No one uses apps to go to the pharmacy. They just go. Right? So it's not that that person is discouraging you or they are a hater. It's just that they just don't know any better. Close? Roy, noted?
My question is also very close to Jessica's, but I wanted to ask, Uguti, you sound like you are focused on startups, but then people who would like to have a business but don't know what business to start. Do you also assist those to discover where they can start? Perhaps they have an idea, which I'm good with numbers, I'm good with this, but they just don't know which direction to take.
Yes, chapters 2. Yes, absolutely. Chapters 2 to 5 in the book deal exactly with those things, right? It goes from, for instance, one of the guidance points issued in the book says, start a business and base that business on something you know or you are familiar with, so that it's easier, number one. Number two, good ideas don't make businesses. If you want to build a business, solve a problem and offer a solution people are willing to pay you for. There are some things that people are just not willing to pay for. And there are other things that people are always willing to pay for. So chapters 2 to 5 deal with exactly that. What to base your business on, how to identify a business, the difference between a business and a business opportunity, and it also helps you identify who your target customer is, who you should be selling to. Understand, when you're selling to the right person, there's no price negotiation. There's no price negotiation because the person understands the value of what you're selling. No one goes to negotiate the price of a Ferrari. Why? Because they sell to the person who needs that Ferrari for self-esteem or whatever it is. So that's covered in the book. So you don't have to worry. That's definitely in the book. This book is about thinking. It's for people who are thinking about starting a business all the way up until your business is 3 years old. Because then when your business survives the first 3 years, after that, it's a whole different ballgame. It's about growth. It's about scale. Your challenges are completely different. That's going to be the third book that we're going to release. But now we're focused on the first 3 years. Roy, you have a question?
Yeah, hi.
How's it
Good
going?
evening, guys. My name is Chisom, and I'm in Abuja, precisely Nigeria. You said some things that really got my attention. Pitching the right idea to the wrong people. I'm on the verge of starting a ride sharing app.
Okay.
Like a ride sharing business where people in Abuja can easily get rides home, because that's one of the problems here. The transportation system in Abuja is very, very poor.
Okay.
And I did a lot of research and I met a lot of people, and a lot of people turned me down because I didn't really know why they were turning me down. Because finally last week I got to understand why bus owners were turning me down. That's the first one. The second one is I think one of the most difficult stage in starting a business is trying to get a team, trying to get your right team to work with you.
Yes.
I'm still finding that very, very difficult to get, because like the only person on board with me now is my lawyer.
Yes.
Who work in the same company with.
Okay.
I met someone last 2 weeks and I was like, that I'm trying to raise money to build an app. Because building an app here costs about 6 million, 7 million. And I went to meet him. I was like, sir, I really need, this is what I'm trying to solve. in Abuja. He was like, he listened to me. I said, boy, that you don't need an app. Why do you need an app to run a bus sharing app? That it's not the app that will solve the problem. It's you getting a bus.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay, to get a bus now would cost me 15 million naira for one bus.
Yes.
And I can't afford it, but I can struggle to do an app whereby people who have these private cars can jump into my app and register, and we are good to start.
Okay.
And I will not lie, he discouraged me at the point, but I had to go back. I was like, why will you allow him to discourage you? Like, no, he's not a business person.
Yes.
He's a corporate person. So
Yes.
he doesn't understand where I'm coming from.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can I?
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So, like, I think, yeah, like I wish in Africa here we can have an organization or individuals, investors who would dedicate their time to listening to the ideas of the young people, because to be honest, starting up a business in Africa is very, very difficult. You
Yes.
can't access loan.
Yes.
You, like, the funds are not there.
Yes, absolutely.
Just look, I was talking with someone, and I was telling him the whole idea, and I was like, okay, where is this idea done in Nigeria? I said in Lagos, we have the likes of trips, shuttlers, and the rest. And he was like, okay, do you know that it's not good for you to look at those people because you don't know how they make their money. You don't know if they launder money, politicians launder money, and put it there. She was just trying to discourage me and make me feel like I don't know what I'm doing.
Yes,
and
yes.
That's what you just said, that you don't have to. It's not everybody you pitch your idea to, because
Absolutely.
if you're not strong, babe, they will discourage you.
Absolutely, absolutely.
They will definitely discourage you.
So,
but I still wish, like, I still hope and I wish that.
So,
Okay.
do you mind if we do a quick brainstorm, you and I, on your idea, Chisom, just to help you move forward?
Sure, yeah, sure.
Okay, perfect.
Why not?
Perfect. So, do you know, have you identified the kind of person that would need to use these buses, that desperately need this transport?
Yes, the corporate people and the normal average man, the people who lives in the suburbs.
Okay, perfect.
Mostly people that live in the suburbs, but the population is very.
Is very?
Yeah.
So you're saying the population is very?
No, not very. It's like the population of people who need our services are much because they live at the suburbs.
Okay, so here's what I'd like to challenge you to do. Yeah? So something that's going to help you move forward and something that's going to help you build a business case for you to get funding. Yeah? Okay, so firstly, I'd like you to make a list of the types of people that you think need this thing.
Okay, I've done that.
Okay.
I have that written.
Perfect. And the second step is I would like you to go interview them.
Okay.
And find out exactly what their problem is or what their challenge is. So is their challenge a lack of access to transport, or is their challenge that they don't trust the transport that exists?
Okay, now their challenge is there are not enough buses
Okay.
and cars to take them back home.
Okay.
Buses and cars are not much.
Okay.
They are limited.
Okay. So now that they've given you that feedback, what's your next question to them?
Now, the next question now is to create a system where there will be more availability of cars and buses for them.
Yes. But that's the final destination. Yeah. So what you want to do before that, you want to say, if we provided you with a bus, would you use it? That should be your next question. So you say, if we provided you with transport, with sufficient transport, would you use it?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. No, don't assume that. Let them tell you that.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
critical.
I've done a lot.
Okay.
Feasibility study, okay.
No,
Now,
have
the
they,
problem,
just hold on. Have they said to you, we would use those buses if you provided it to them?
yes.
Okay. Okay. So have they shared with you what would make them not use those buses?
Yes, we want to make them not use those buses is if you're charging higher than what the normal people,
Okay.
normal transport people
Okay.
charge.
Perfect.
Yeah, but still, there are still some people, there's still some fragment of people who are willing to pay more as far they are comfortable.
Okay.
They don't care the cost. But now, looking at the ratio, it's lower. But the people that need the services more are these people who live at the outskirts, like people that live outside town.
Okay.
At the suburb, people that need services more.
Okay. So now you've got your customers, right? Now you need buses. Have you spoken to any bus owners?
Yes, I have spoken to 20 bus owners.
And what did they say?
Okay, now this is how it works. Okay, so now I'm trying to commit it into the market. I'm trying to build my numbers now from scratch now. So now these bus owners, they don't want to hear that. They have people, they have drivers who they give the buses out. In a day, these drivers go as much as 6 trips in a day, and they remit 15,000, some 15,000 naira every day, some 17,000 every day.
Yes.
And I was coming with an offer that I'm trying to build a new model of transport, because what these drivers do that they pick people randomly from the road. They stop at the bus stop and they pick random people and people and they carry pipes, and the comfort is not there, the security is not there.
Okay.
So me, I'm telling you that if you give me your bus, every week I'll be giving you 40,000.
Okay.
They said no. That's the bus drivers that they give these buses to, that they remit 50,000 to them in 3 days.
Okay. So here's the thing.
Yes,
So now, if you haven't done so, now your next challenge is to find a bus owner who's willing to partner with you.
That's the problem.
Okay. So
a bus owner here in Abuja, because the buses here in Abuja are limited. If I was in Lagos, it would have been much easier for me to get bus owners who would jump on board.
Okay.
Because the buses are much.
Okay.
But here the buses are limited, and they know.
Okay. So let me ask you then. Now that you have hit that stumbling block, how are you going to solve it?
How I intend on solving it now is that I'm going to push buses aside. Now I'm going to look for private people who own cars, like bankers, lawyers, people who privately have their own cars and they want to make extra income. So
okay.
I tell you that, okay, bring your car to our office.
Perfect.
We look at the car, we inspect the car is okay. Now we are the ones that will match you with customers. So you don't need to go to the bus stop and fight the counts.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay, perfect. So what's great about what you're doing is you are following the right steps in terms of problem solving.
Yeah.
In terms of writing with your idea. So what I would like you to do, Chisom, is please inbox me. I am really keen to see how you progress. So what's nice about where you are is it fits very nicely into some of the processes that the 10-minute guide talks about.
Yeah.
So, i.e., identifying a commercially viable business opportunity, finding your target customers, and building a product or service to build your business.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask that, like Betty, please let me know what ebook platforms you've got access to.
Okay.
And then I will send you a link for you to buy the book on there. But additionally, what I would like to do is I would like to keep in touch with you to find out how you are using the book to apply to sort of sort out your situation and how you're progressing in general.
Yeah.
So if there's demand for this space, for this kind of conversation, what we'll then do is in a month from now, we will then touch base and have a conversation again. I'll have a space. So if you guys want the space again, in a month from now, we'll do it again.
Okay.
And then you and I can then talk about where you are, what the next step is.
Okay.
But
okay, cool.
Yeah, but let me know what platforms you use, then let's get the book to you.
Okay,
but
platforms, you mean social media platforms, right?
No. I meant ebook platforms. So what I will also do, Chisom, what I'll also do is I will also send you a list of people who support entrepreneurs in Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your homework is let me know what ebook platforms you use so we can send you a link to buy the book. And then send me a DM so we can keep in touch and I can send you that list of people who support entrepreneurs. There is probably a couple of venture capitalists I know, both either here in South Africa and in Nigeria, who may be accessible, who've solved something like this. Okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
So can I just before you guys cut everything, maybe can I just come up with something? I'm in this side of Africa, Eastern Central Africa, from Kenya. My name is Jaffa.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Yes, we're here. We're listening.
Yeah, exactly. And I really wish that the very same program can it really work also these other sides, so that maybe if I can also share with you guys whatsoever we're doing down here. So maybe that would be from there.
Okay. So what you want to do, Jaffa, do you want to DM me here on Twitter, ne?
Yeah, I can DM you.
Yes.
I can DM you so that we can start from the grassroots.
Absolutely. So look, that's what the 10-minute guide is about. That's what the space is about, starting at the very beginning. So please DM me and let's see how we can set something up to support you.
Thank you.
Perfect. Anybody with a question, a burning comment, a sore heart?
Hi, Sanjiso.
Hey, Zubo.
Talk to the space about what keeps the entrepreneur fueled up, to keep going. Because a lot of the stuff or a lot of the actions that one would try to do, they will work, but they may not always work the first time around.
Yeah.
So like in one of the chapters, I think the chapter is about that good ideas don't make good business. So just the process of fine-tuning and validating what it is that you are trying to get out to the market. I think that's something that you're trying to do now with the previous guy. I think Roy, the one in Nigeria.
Yes.
So maybe you can just touch a bit about that if you're prepared for that.
Perfect. So what we'll then do is let's make this a very practical exercise. So somebody in the space, or please suggest an opportunity that you have identified. So something you've been thinking about exploring, an opportunity you've been thinking about taking advantage of. Suggest something and let's work through it together as a team. We've got about, okay, noted Punzile. We've got about 68 people in the space. So you've got a team of people willing to work with you. Yes, Punzile. So Punzile. Sorry, somebody move, please. Okay, so I'm not too sure. I can't really see who's got their phone on. So I'm gonna unmute everybody. Hello. Okay, so it's Elrod.
Or maybe before I speak, Elrod has been wanting to speak. Maybe if you can allow him to speak and then I can come in after.
Okay, thanks, Pumzile. Elrod, do you wanna talk to us?
It looks like his connection is gone. Yeah, but the question that you are asking.
Yeah.
But the question that you've been asking, it's an idea, but I'm not sure if it's really business related. Looking at the changing economic dynamics around the world,
okay,
where the French language is declining, and beyond English as a business language, now we're going into Mandarin. And
yes,
a lot of African countries, China has been expanding in a lot of African countries, and there is a language barrier. I mean, here we have China cities everywhere, and you find that most of them are reluctant to speak English.
Yes.
And the idea that I thought about a long time ago, you just reminded me of it just now, was to target schools, maybe use local schools, identify kids that are willing to learn Mandarin so that you prepare them for the future. And we've got a growing Chinese community here in Johannesburg, and some of them are teachers. So have a program where parents that are willing would be able to contribute a certain fee on a monthly basis so that we get those teachers to come in maybe twice a week and actually teach Mandarin, so that when these kids leave school and they want to be entrepreneurs and growing the economy into manufacturing, production, accessibility of products that are being done in Asia and all those things.
Okay.
At least that communication barrier. I don't know if it's a business idea or whether it's just a social program.
Okay, so now let's do this. Here's how we figure out whether or not this is just a once-off opportunity or this is a business opportunity and whether or not it's worth pursuing. Yeah. Without enough information, we've got to first quantify the opportunity. Okay, so we've got to say, on average, how many kids do you estimate would want to learn Mandarin?
With that, I'm not sure, but I would want to believe that I believe that it is an added advantage that they don't know they need to have as yet.
Yes, but that's the thing. So if they don't know they need that advantage, why would they pay for it? Why would they even sit in class?
All right.
Do you see? It's like when you've got a friend who's an, okay, internet noted, let's see who this is, internet philosopher, you are noted. It's like when you have a friend who drinks a lot and you feel like this person is an alcoholic and they don't think so. You can intervene and stage intervention as much as you like. It's not gonna, you see what I'm saying? Why? Because they are not reaching out for the help. So unless the kids and their parents say, we want to learn Mandarin, or unless the parents say, we want to prepare our kids for the future, then you would, when there's demand, then it's an opportunity. What you then need to say is this a business opportunity, i.e., is it a recurring thing? Is there an opportunity to provide these lessons every month? For how much? How often? How much am I paying the teachers who teach Mandarin? What resources are we going to need to teach Mandarin? And how much am I making as a business owner? And what parents are, the money that parents are willing to pay is dependent on how big an opportunity or how big an advantage they think Mandarin would give their kids. So then the question is, what kind of kids, what kinds of parents, and what kind of schools would think that's a great thing to do? Chances are it's probably going to be your very expensive high-end schools. Why? Because the parents take their kids on around the world trips every now and then, and they see that. They understand the importance of being cosmopolitan and being international in your thinking. People in grassroots communities are concerned about food on the table, jobs, income. There isn't an opportunity to think that far. And if there is, it's one person in 1,000. So it's this kind of process that you've got to think about in terms of figuring out and how to quantify your opportunities. Is there demand? Unless you've got R1 million you are willing to put into an opportunity, wait for demand to allow you to offer. Jaffa noted internet philosopher was first. Internet philosopher, do you want to ask your question or make a comment?
I would like to make a comment. I think you've hit the nail on the head on this one with teaching Mandarin. I think probably Chinese people learn their language first and be more valued teachers, first of all, if it becomes valuable. But the other thing is, I'm an economist, just for reference.
Yeah.
So I study these things professionally.
Yeah.
And you will find that maybe there is a need, but people also need to realize this need.
Absolutely.
Because as you said, people are not that good at looking into the future long term.
Absolutely.
I think the only way Mandarin would be valuable is a bridge combined with a different skill set. Like if you, for example, are an economist or an attorney or somebody who has business dealings with the Chinese.
Absolutely.
That would be a very valuable skill.
Absolutely.
But if you don't have direct business dealings, it's more of a luxury.
Absolutely.
Unlike properly mastering English, which is much, for now at least, a much more internationally accepted business language.
Absolutely. And most people can even barely write English formally in a business document.
Yes.
Right? Even people in corporate.
Yes, I completely agree. And that's true here as well. I'm in Norway.
Okay.
And most people here are very highly educated in the English language. It is our second language. And but they couldn't write or read a legal or financial document.
Absolutely. There we go.
So yeah. But the other thing I would warn against is trusting the Chinese. They do not have your best interest in mind. No, I'm not going to pretend Europe and the US does either. But there is a bigger agenda in play there.
Yeah, look, absolutely. There isn't. Let me say this. The politics of it aside, right? I don't think we can argue that anybody who introduces their culture and their economics to somebody else has that person's best interest at heart. But I mean, that's arguable. We can argue it back and forth kind of thing. But I would discourage, though, entrepreneurs from viewing things in that manner. Never include politics in your opportunity analysis. Never include race, never include culture, never include global politics. Because the people that run international businesses don't care. You can say they are racist, you can say they are this, you can say that, they don't care. You know why? Because you pay them. And they take your money and go and buy yachts. And that's how you need to think as an entrepreneur. You need to think about how do we quantify the opportunity in terms of, rands and cents or dollars and cents. Jaffa, you have a point? Do you have a question, a comment? Jaffa, you have your hand up? Yes, now we can hear you.
Myself officially. My name is Jaffa Raki, and I'm a criminologist by profession. I've actually studied security and forensic investigation. I'm back here in Kenya, and that's my specialty. Now, there's something that I want to really agree with the speakers, and there's something that I agree with them, because when you want to define somebody, you don't define somebody by the race or where he or she comes from.
Yes.
Because that is a study, that is a study that has been proven that somebody, I can be an African, but when I grow in Europe or when I grow in some other place, I will behave like those people.
Absolutely.
So, wherever my originality comes from will not define me.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, and that is why I want to agree with there's I think one speaker who said that you have to look at where somebody has come from, and that is not how to define somebody.
Yeah. Look, absolutely. I don't. Yeah, look, to be fair, I think it's just kind of like a personal perspective. But let's not get into politics. I don't want us to talk about these politics. I think everybody does agree with you. Yeah, look, I don't want us to talk about sort of origins, politics, and that kind of thing, because then it's going to cloud the message. Yes.
Yeah, I was even now going back to our topic was how can we help one another in as far much as entrepreneurship is concerned.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Now, absolutely. Now, I was just thinking of when we also look at entrepreneurship, let's look at also because now, okay, we really want to serve our own world, yeah? And we want to serve also Africa at the same time. And let's not look at because we know in Africa politics is something that can define and justify some things. But let's not look at that. Let's look at the problems. What are people suffering from? What is the way forward, and what can we do for people? I think if we look at it from that perspective, then I think we will achieve our goal.
Okay, perfect. Brilliant. I love the point you made. And I want to offer a challenge, Zuo, noted. And I want to offer a challenge here. My purpose is to help drive entrepreneurship. So I would say if any one of you here has a business, please update your profile with a short sentence or a statement about what your business does. Number one. Number two, if you are looking for a particular service, please go through the profiles of the people in the space so that you could find somebody to do business with. Quite often, what I've found is when I speak to groups of entrepreneurs, you find that between them and amongst themselves, they generate about $10 million every year in income, but none of them is doing business with each other. Right? If we start doing that, then we don't need government, then we don't need corporates. We can just do business amongst ourselves. Jessica, you're noted. Zugo, you want to jump in? Jaffa, I'm going to ask that you please mute your mic there.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Sonny. So what I wanted to do was to just give maybe a live perspective of some of the aspects that the book talks about is practical.
Mm-hmm.
So just to give a bit of a background, we run a business called Folex Accounting Services. So often we are misplaced because people think that when we speak about accounting, we speak about money per se. When we actually don't, we just speak about the art of accounting, to be responsible, to be there for your actions, whether for yourself or for someone else. So, and I'd like to believe that whatever it is that we do, the management consultants that we offer in the business, we are successful. So going back to a time when I had a lot of energy to educate myself, I'd gone to attend impact investing course universities in South Africa in Cape Town.
Mm-hmm.
And for the longest time, I built this interest to understand what is this demand around, what people want, in terms of impact and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So fast forward, the reputation of the business is built, the reputation of myself is built, and we start getting invited to these boards to represent various interests and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
So now what is happening in this environment is that you find that everybody wants to have an impact, but nobody can define what the impact is, and nobody can quantify or measure the impact in ways that people can actually understand.
Mm-hmm.
So this is not something that as a business we are focused in at the moment, but as part of the government's responsibility that I had to discharge just this week, I found myself having to define or to exemplify what impact should be or should look like for this organization that I represent.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized that actually here I have just addressed the gap of the many potential customers that we've spoken to before around this challenge that they have, perhaps some of them not wanting to pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
So what gives me great perspective or opportunity in this is that, one, I have the skill, and the business has the skill to exploit, this opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Two, we already know, we can already package what it is that we can offer in terms of creating the value for the customer. And we can identify the customers who they are. The only challenge here that currently stands before us is not so much a challenge. It's always the aspect of resourcing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the focus of the business is on a particular market segment, and we are seeing this new market segment which we've always looked at without much hammer for it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think now there is an opportunity. So I'm trying to get myself to a level where I can motivate the people that are around me to say, let us build this market, because we have just built a blueprint of something that can be utilized by many who need it, and many that we know that they've needed it. But I don't know if my people will have the same appetite. So that's why I was asking that question about fueling that fire.
So
the entropy. Yes.
So the best way to tackle that, Zugo, is to quantifiably do it. So one of the things that the book talks about is, number one, getting two types of customers: your confidence customer and your bread and butter customer. Okay, so your bread and butter customer, your confidence customer is the person that's going to buy your product or service to give you the confidence to continue. What you have just done, if I understood you correctly, is you've you've figured out a way to help businesses measure the impact that they have. So what you now have to do is find one customer, just that one customer who needs that service the most. Because once you sell into that customer and your team is with you on board when you service that customer, then it starts to crystallize in reality that actually this is something we can exploit. Then their minds open up to opportunities and identifying those opportunities. Very often, you as an entrepreneur, you as a business lead, you have the advantage of your vision and the fact that the way you operate, so Claus and Jessica, you noted, so the way you operate is the way your mind works and the opportunities that you have access to as the leader of the business. You are like someone who's standing on top of a hill and looking around at the landscape. Your employees and everyone else are people at the bottom of the valley. So you can shout that there's water coming, or you like. They're not going to see it until the water's close. So what you've got to do as the lead is you've got to get down the hill, take your people by the hand, walk them to the places where there's water. So to bring this back to your analogy is you figured out that there's demand, or there are some clients who need to meet the requirement of reporting and measuring impact. Find just one guy who's willing to pay you for that. From servicing that person, you'll figure out what that person looks like or what that business looks like. And then you go find somebody else that needs exactly. So you go from your confidence customer to your second confidence customer, then to your bread and butter customer. Your bread and butter customer is that person who's going to need to measure impact on an ongoing basis, and they're going to need your services. And you'll build then the team's fire through serving the confidence customer and your first bread and butter customer. Jessica?
Oh, yes. So when we started the space, we did a beautiful exercise on, role playing, the whole, starting up a new business and everything. So I just wanted to know, like in the book, is there a chapter or a section where it actually elaborates more on that? And it gives more content as well on how to then, when you've established this business up and running, the measures that helps you how to to sustain the business.
Okay, so perfect, beautiful question. And time, you also noted. So the only thing, so yes, there is information in the book, but the way it's spread out is the thing that will help you sustain the business, Jessica, is profit. That's it. Systems, processes, all of those things only come in once your business has mastered the ability to service your customer consistently on an ongoing basis and use the customer's feedback to improve the product or the service. Because that helps you maintain your profit levels and that helps you maintain your sales. First, we've got to get that right. One of the things that happens, especially when you take advantage of a good opportunity, you want to jump far ahead. Your first 3 years in business, focus on profitability and managing that profitability, building a good team around it, finding the right business partners, finding the right people to get advice from. And it does sound like it's something that's pretty straightforward, but building a good team around a business takes a while to do. It takes a while. So sustainability is having a good team and hiring people to help you support the customer in such a way that the customer keeps coming back. That's how you sustain your business in the first 3 years.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And one more thing, sorry. I wanted to know that when you were drafting the book, did you keep in mind of the current climate in terms of the, the future products and services, the future, jobs, future ways of working. We're going into, or we are into the digital world right now.
Mhm.
So is the book talking more in those lines?
No. So the book isn't theoretical and it is not future looking in that sense. The only thing the book does is it teaches you what you need to do so that your business is profitable. The thing about innovation and the future and those kinds of those things only become applicable once your business has a track record of profitability and you know it's going to survive to see that future. So there is nothing about future focus, future forwardness, and future ways of working. Why? Because the principles of building a business, whether it's today, whether it's next year, whether it's 20 years, is going to be the same. You need to solve a problem, you need to offer value, you need to get your pricing right, and you need to offer the right solution to the right customer to solve a customer problem. And you need to service the customer consistently. Whether it's in the metaverse, it's in reality, whether you're dealing with Bitcoin, whether you're dealing with NFTs, whether or not people are working remotely, whether or not people are working on Zoom, all of that is secondary to solving a customer problem. It's secondary to getting your pricing right. And fundamentally, it's secondary to profitability. Because regardless of how the future looks, your business will still need to be profitable. But no, that's not something that book deals with. False?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Ned. You spoke about finding people that like when you start, whatever you're starting, you acquaint yourself with people who are like-minded. So my question, I want to ask you, does the book advise on how much you can share as a startup, because not every business owner is epic opportunist. So you may share whatever you share. Next thing they steal your ideas and things like that. So does the book give you guidance in terms of being able to secure and not disadvantage yourself in not opening up enough for you to learn as much as you can from other people while not losing the essence of what you are trying to do?
Perfect.
And then stealing.
So so that's a perfect question. That's a brilliant question. And I'll answer it in two parts. So number one, the book doesn't teach you how to discern who can be trusted and who can't. That's a capability.
Fuck you.
Even. That's
Fuck you, mother beach, party boy.
sorry guys, there's some idiot here on the space whom we gave speaking rights to. So we've removed and blocked him. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, so number one, the book doesn't teach you how to discern who can be trusted or not. That's something you're going to have to develop. However, the thing you've got to understand about entrepreneurship in this day and age, ideas are plenty. Ideas don't matter. What makes a difference is how you execute the idea. There are a lot of people with money, girls. There are a lot of people with resources, but those people are not building businesses. You know why? Because they don't know how to execute. Execution makes all the difference. People, look, there are situations where people do steal your ideas, absolutely. But that's a skill you have to discern. That the book doesn't deal with that. The book simply focuses on technical knowledge that you need to know. In time, you have your hand up.
Okay, good evening from this end.
Good evening, good evening.
I heard you say something about
what you should do when getting into business.
Mhm.
You talked about starting out with getting things sorted out and securing investors. Although I don't know, I actually belong to a school of thought that says that funding should come first and getting the system right should come first. Focusing on that, investors will come second. Will come after you if something like that happens, and then you can go after investors. But then, can you give me some clarity to help me understand that? I also have a second question.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can bring that out, or I should let you finish with the first.
Okay, so let's do the first question. So your first question is, what do you do first? Do you raise funding first, or do you sort out the opportunity before you go raise funding? Is that your question?
No. It's more like, okay, the opportunity is there already. You've sorted that out. Now, what I was talking about was, you said something about finding investors and stuff like that.
Yeah.
My question is more like, do you first of all get a system that works? Like you build your system that generates the income before you go after investors, because I don't think investors would want to invest in a just good idea. I think they're looking at something that will give them money. So I got a bit confused there.
Absolutely. So let's talk about what you should do and what happens in reality. In reality, you need to work off the basis that you are not going to get investors. In reality, you need to work off the basis that you need to understand how much it's going to cost you to set up and run your business in the first 3 years or until you make a profit. In reality, you've got to then save the money you're going to need. That's what the book does. That's what the book takes you through, right? That's what you should do. However, what we do find nowadays is, depending on who you are, where you live, and the resources and the people and the social capital you've got access to, you can just simply wake up with an idea and get an investor tomorrow. It's just about who you know. That's what happens now, currently, right? You see people all over the internet who got funding for this and this and that. It's because of who they know, who they are close to, whether or not they've got access to the money. But as an entrepreneur, if you're building a business, first, you've got to quantify the opportunity, figure out if you are going to be able to make money from this opportunity, and then take it. Your second question. Jaffa, noted?
Thank you very much for that. Yes, that's noted, and I think it makes a lot of sense. So the second question is about, does the book
Sorry, and time, I can't hear you. Say again. Hello? Hello? Please try muting and unmuting your speaker. I can't hear your question. I can't hear you, in fact, at all.
Sorry, a call is coming in, so it's going to break my service. I think I would come back.
Okay, cool. Jaffa, you had a question. Timber noted. Underground soldier, you also noted. Jaffa, you want to ask a quick question?
Yes, I'm on. Are you getting me?
Yes, we're getting you.
Okay, now there's just one I think maybe suggestion, and also I will answer one or two questions that our fellow guys are asking. Whenever we talk, let's always remember that all these things that we're talking about are happening in Africa. And in Africa we have so many things. For somebody to be an entrepreneur, for somebody to start a small business, for somebody to start anything, we normally also have those taxes that are normally taken by the government. So a person has to be compliant with the government. Before now, even decency or compliance with he or himself, with his business. Yeah. So whenever we talk about starting anything up, we have to factor in the government perspective. That is one.
Okay.
And then secondly, what I can say is for us Africans, the only thing that we can maybe come together and and compass and start is just our surrounding. Whatever that surrounds us, that is right now.
Yeah.
We're dealing with the digital market. Yeah, the digital market is coming up. We're dealing with crises. We're dealing with weather climates and what have you. Those are the angles people, each and everyone should be looking at.
Absolutely.
You look at the problem you're undergoing, and then you look at the solution that you want to provide.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right, Jaffa. Start with things that are around you and solve those problems. Absolutely. So, okay.
Thank you.
So let me go to Underground Soldier. You've had your hand up for a minute, and then Temba's Flower Tat will come back to you.
Hello, good evening, everyone. I hope everybody is getting me. I hope everybody is also fine.
Yes.
It's very great to get into this space and hear great minds expressing themselves. And also the entrepreneur book, I am very grateful for you coming up with such an idea, because I think I heard about it somewhere and I went through it. It's quite an amazing book, which has permitted me personally to unlock a solution to most Africans' problems, which is through the means of recycling, to be more precise, and agriculture. Why recycling and agriculture? Because I have taken time, my team and I have taken time to look through the past of Africa as a whole. That is from the start of time, when the human, that is the Homo sapiens in Africa, decided to wake up in 2 feet and start moving. That is when we discovered humanity as a whole. That is when humanity started having like a kind of a brain or something.
Yes.
But now, because Africans are not meant, they don't love moving around and discovering, which is one of the greatest secrets of the whites, which I don't know if people have discovered. Moving around makes you to discover a lot.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
my journey through Africa has also taught me a lot. It shows that many people came in Africa and stole what we had that we didn't know how to make use of, and ran away with it. They went and developed everywhere, and things are nice for them. Now they are crying the consequences of the global warming and all the rest. For us in Africa to witness the real effect of the global warming could be maybe through economic suppression from our colonial masters. But aside that, I think if we can go back to our land, in fact, try to clean Africa as a whole, and also go back to agriculture, it won't fail us. Currently, in South Africa, and I've made a survey of all Southern African countries. I've come to realize most of Southern African countries and Western Africa are facing a very great economic depression, and also due to the increase of the production of non-recyclable material, and it has made Africa a lot dirty, and the rise in the population who are unemployed is also very alarming, causing our economy to fall again drastically.
Absolutely.
So I have put in a system whereby we can eradicate all of that in the space of 5 years and become, in the space of even 20 years, and become the superpower. But now, how ready are Africans? That is a question we should ask ourselves.
So
how ready are we to work?
So
We have
yeah, so let me,
we have an
yes,
yes, please.
yeah, so let me, so in terms of Africans traveling and that kind of thing, will you please mute Underground Soldier?
Okay.
Will you please just mute and then you will come back in if you have a question? Okay. So in terms of Africans traveling, one of the reasons that Africans don't travel, actually, it's not that Africans don't want to, it's an issue of resources. A lot of Africans are stuck in a space where they've got to survive. It's got very little to do with resources. Of course, there's those people that don't want to travel, but lots of Africans are really just trying to survive. And you know what, Underground Soldier, your ideas of agriculture and recycling are brilliant. Those are two of the biggest opportunities. Agriculture, for obvious reasons, people never want to stop eating. And Africa has the most arable land in the world. 60% of the world's most arable land is in Africa and it's unused. So there is definitely that opportunity, okay? So you're absolutely spot on, you're absolutely on the money. But Africans are ready, and that's what this book is about, and that's what the space is about, right? The space is about recognizing that Africans are ready to take their destiny into their own hands. However, there hasn't been enough information that's available for us to run businesses in a smart way versus in a survivalist way. Without the information and without support ecosystems, we can't move forward. And what I would like to do, Underground Soldier, is to challenge you to, in building your agricultural business, in building your recycling business, source locally. Okay, source locally, ask people around you in the communities and get them as service providers. Do business with each other. Then you'll be able to tell whether or not Africans want to move forward. So what I want to do, Underground Soldier, please keep your hand up. I'm going to go to Temba's flower tat, and then I'll come back to you.
Yeah, that was quite mind-blowing, Underground Soldier. And we've been taken aback by all of that, and you know. I think, okay, so my question is a little bit more closer to home. It's not that globalistic in mindset. I wanted to find out from you, you know, Mr. Ngube, if there's any sort of difference or fundamental difference, rather, basically between service-related entrepreneurship or businesses and what is the other type, like
products,
substance, like sorry,
products.
Basically product-based, right? I'm asking this question because, like, my business is a service-based business, and I've moved away from the area in which I actually started working in, which is Gauteng, and I've relocated to a smaller province because I identified the need for this particular service, but I'm having a really hard time breaking in to this. I mean, I suppose obviously the opportunity that I saw would obviously also in turn present a challenge to me, because that means selling an idea that people generally are not aware that they need or how to go about it. So there's a lot of challenges. But in terms of just providing a service, as a business that provides services, what is some of the, you know, pointers that one should look out for to strengthen their business and to really try to break even from the phase of, you know, just starting and getting to a point where you've got a solid customer base? What are some of the pointers that you'd give, or advices or suggestions that you'd give for someone who's running a service-orientated business?
Perfect. So your name is?
Can I just go Temba Tats?
Okay, Temba Tats, that's fine. So so that's a brilliant question, and I love your question because it's getting us to a point that I initially wanted to get to. There's a difference between product and services businesses. And listen, I'm going to tell you the biggest secret between these two, like the keys to the castle. And here's what the difference is. Product businesses are mostly impersonal. They're impersonal. So I don't need to know you. I don't need to like you. Service businesses are personal. I need to trust you. I need to allow you in my space in some way, shape, or form. So what that means is, if you are in a small town and you're offering a service, you need to build trust, especially if it's a service that people don't know they need. Because first, there is the learning barrier of a new product. Then it's people psychologically admitting to themselves that they have a problem and they need your solution. And the only way you overcome that is trust. If you're building a service business, start by building trust. I'll make a quick example that's closer to South Africa. South Africa's townships, the grocery market in South Africa's townships is controlled by Somali, people from Somalia and Eritrea, and people from South Central Asia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. And the way they were able to do that was between 1995 and 2002, what you saw around South Africa was groups of 2 or 3 men, each one of them carrying a single carpet. They'd go into each neighborhood, knock, and say they were selling a carpet. And they would say to the people, listen, I've got a carpet. It's 400 bucks. I'll come and collect money bit by bit. For 5 to 7 years, these guys did this. And people would go, so how do you trust that I'm going to pay you? And these guys would say, look, it's fine, I trust you. Just hold on, everybody. There's a knock on my door. I'm gonna call Chief. Okay, sorry about that. So what these guys would do is they would offer to take payment for the carpets over a long period of time, months, sometimes 2-3 years. What they were doing was 2 things. They were doing market research on affordability. They were doing market research to see how many people were in each home, and they were building trust. So eventually, after 2002, after 7 years of selling carpets and building trust, during that 7 years, people got to know, oh, that's Abdullah, oh, that's Mohammed. And the people went from not knowing who these people were and being skeptical of them to waving them goodbye as they passed by to go collect their 10 Rand from that old lady down the street because she took a carpet 2 years ago. These guys used that as a market research opportunity and to build trust. And after 2002, they started building shops and taking over corner shops and mom and pop shops in the townships and in the most remote rural areas. And there was absolutely no resistance from the communities. Because over that 7 years, they started by selling carpets, and then people would say, hey, do you have brooms? Have you got light bulbs? Have you got this? Have you got that? And people then trusted them as their go-to. So when these guys eventually moved in, there was no resistance from the communities. Now they were part of the communities. And they've been part of those communities ever since. The township grocery market in South Africa, okay, outside of the groceries that people buy every month, outside of the bulk groceries, what I'm talking about is the piece of the loaf of bread, the milk, the small bar of soap that people purchase every month. That market across South Africa's 532 townships is worth 49 billion rands a month. 49 billion rands a month. That's how much South Africa's township citizens spend on small groceries above and beyond their regular groceries. Build trust in a service business first. You do need to build trust in a product business as well, but in a service business, that's the first port of call, which is why you must understand Temba's flower tat, how much it's going to cost you to run your business up until a point where people trust you enough to buy from you and you become profitable. Do those numbers now so that if you need to get funding, you can go and get funding. It's going to take time to build trust. Do those numbers now. In fact, I'd say get the book. Do those numbers now so that you know how much burn rate, you know how much money you need until you've built trust. And as you secure your funding, as you work on those numbers, build relationships, build trust. Underground Soldier.
Yeah, sure. amazing, and it was quite amazing when you're doing with a service provider. More precisely, you need to build trust as you said. Why do I say so? Because I have built my own team with the local residents, the ones who have given up on life. More precisely, those guys who are smoking, they don't just want to hear anything. They just want to steal to make it. And I see them as the right potential for the cleansing, because I'm coming in with my team with a new strategy to clean the whole of Africa through the recycling. And over time, we have also studied that the recycling of just plastic papers, we can change it into petrol, which can be used into vehicles, but we don't project it that way. For now, we have a process which we want to follow, and also the recycling of plastic cans, can be into pure aluminum ingot with roughly 99%. Over Africa, the purification of such mostly happens not even in major countries, but in countries which are not being mentioned. The majority of the aluminum which is being used is being produced in Zimbabwe. Why? Why in Zimbabwe and not in South Africa? We have to take all of that into consideration. Well, I think for us Africans to succeed, we need to look upon the less fortunate, because it's by pushing the less fortunate to have the possibility of an opportunity to make it, which is going to actually create that change. Also by teaching them while working alongside with them to know the way they place their feet into whatsoever. And one way also to build trust is to do the work by yourself. If somebody gets into your factory or wherever you're working and realize that the person behind the idea of the project is at work with the workers while explaining to them how to go about, I think it's going to build much more trust on relationship based as far as the business is concerned or the project is concerned. Well, I think so far I'm good. I've gotten more than enough so far. But I request, I'm pleading, I'm still looking for funds. I've gotten all my numbers right.
So
thank you very much. I'll just listen and see what's going on.
Where are you based, Underground Soldier? Which part of the world are you in?
At the moment, I'm in South Africa, but even though I move a lot, but at the moment, I'm going in South Africa, more precisely in Johannesburg.
Are you working from Johannesburg?
Let me say, I'm just like the brain of the project, but things are already underway going. Like, we've already gotten in connection with a couple of different communities, a couple of guys in Alex and a couple of communities right in the Limpopo region and the Northwest side to see how, when the moment is right, when we want to start, because we are lacking in funds for the machines which are going to be used to melt all the aluminum cans and go through the purification process. That is something that I'm normally from Western Africa, so that's something that we have learned while growing up. So we want to bring it in an industrial way in South Africa. Why? Because it is a country which is wide open for investment and so on and so forth. And also, aside that, there is a possibility that if we succeed as Africans in recycling our own products, we are going to become independent of products being purchased from out of Africa as a whole, which is actually what we have to be working towards. Because Africa right now is still, we can see, we are still in the discovery of the age where we are learning how to make use of our own natural resources. You understand?
Absolutely.
So that is a little
no, absolutely.
point of view.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Can I ask you to do this, underground soldier? Once, sorry, please mute your mic. I don't know, it's picking up interference. So once you are settled into from a moving around perspective, please DM me. So send me a DM and we'll see how we can support you. So, and I encourage, people who are working on projects and that kind of thing to DM me or complete that form in my tweet, because quite often in the work that we do, we meet a lot of people who can help other people that we've met. So when I've got people who've DM'd me, someone who said, look, we're working on a recycling project, we need funding, we need to buy machinery, we need this. It's easier if I've got you in my DMs and I can refer somebody to you. So will you do that for me, underground soldier?
Yeah, definitely. It's like an opportunity, which is it's a dream that I want to purchase. So I want to follow. So you giving me that possibility is a great pleasure, and I'm going to do so. Let's try and work together and see how we can remove these guys who are into drugs from the streets. Because I say so not because of pity, but because while coming to South Africa, I had nothing. I left from Cameroon, to be more precise, to find a living because I'm the first, and I landed in Nigeria with all the difficulties. I had to go through Niger, Libya, and I was deported, and I was sent back to Nigeria, and I went to Morocco, and so on and so forth. I even went to Dubai, but life wasn't great there. Trust me, it wasn't great at all. So I had to come back. I trekked all the way through Congo. So I have seen what they are going through.
Yes.
So using the cars, asphalt roads. So there is a really great need for change with everything which is happening in Africa, and we have a lot which we can do.
And
in
so,
the space of 10 years.
So you know what I'm also gonna challenge you to do, underground soldier, is in the interim, I'm going to ask that you put together a short presentation on your journey, which countries you visited, how you ended up in South Africa, that kind of thing. And the reason that's important is that kind of story about your motivation, your drive, how you ended up where you are, where you come from. Investors love that kind of story. Okay, it gives background. So put together 2-3 slides, or in fact, 1 slide if you can, about your journey. Investors love it. And it's going to help you connect with people. Jaffa? So underground soldier? Yeah, so please do that, underground soldier, and then DM me. Yeah, we understand you. We hear you, Jaffa.
I have 2 questions for you, and I will also maybe just add on underground's insight that he's really given us. My first question is, we in Africa hear people who are really struggling. At some point, you can ask somebody that, okay, you want to be an entrepreneur, but where are you getting this capital from? Where are you really gonna get this capital from? You don't have, maybe your life has been, you really passed through a lot. You don't even have that capital. Yes, you have the mind. Yes, you have the thought process, but you don't have that money. That is number 1. And then number 2, we have with people who already maybe have gotten the capital, but they do not know what to invest in. They don't know what is the right investment to. Yeah. So I think if you can shed some light on that.
Okay, perfect. So here's the thing. Globally, generally, it's very hard for small business owners to find money in general. And it's even worse in Africa, and it's even worse in some African countries. So the way the 10-minute guide is built, the way I wrote this book, is so that you understand how to plan for and build your business. The recommendation I offer is that you start planning to build your business 3 years before you start, so you can find a job, find something to do, save money, because no one is going to give you money. No one is coming to give you money. I can promise you that. 80 to 90% of the time, you are not going to get funding. It's going to have to come from your pocket. So what the 10-minute guide is, it provides you with a step-by-step process for how to think about saving, managing, coordinating your life so you save that money. And most importantly, regardless whether it's a social initiative, it's got to be profitable as early as possible. Because let me tell you, you're not going to get any community, you are not going to move Africa forward if you are not solving a problem that people are willing to pay you for on the spot. It's just not going to happen. We can talk about the politics of funding, we can talk about the politics of social architecture. It's just not going to happen. Number two, those people who have made it and are reluctant to invest or can't find investment, it's because they don't know how to measure or determine whether or not a business is worth investing in. That alone, Jaffa, is an opportunity. You see that. If you are the kind of person who sees, okay, there are 10 successful people who've got money to invest, but they don't know and can't find investment opportunities, that's an opportunity for you to make money for them, because you are on the ground and you can see these investment opportunities. So I'm going to challenge you to do something about that situation. I don't like to talk for the sake of talking, just discussions. I don't like discussions. I like to see action, right? So what I'm going to challenge you to do, and everyone here, if you see a problem with the way your society or community is progressing, find a problem you can solve for money. Just one. Doesn't have to be a big problem. If you say you support entrepreneurs, buy from a small business. The best way to fund businesses and ideas is to buy from other entrepreneurs. That's how you fund a business. That's exactly how you fund a business. You don't fund a business by going to, and this is why we're having this conversation, right? Which is why we're doing the work we're doing. Because we're saying chances of you getting money from somebody outside of you and your community are slim to none. So the way you do it is you work within your community. Somebody here needs a vehicle to transport their goods. Somebody here has got a vehicle sitting in their garage that's not working. True. Right? So we've got to move away from this idea that business is done with bigger businesses or with corporates and that sort of thing. Business is done with your neighbor. Charity begins at home. That's what this space is about. It's to say, these are the technical capabilities you need to build a profitable businesses, and let's leverage those to do business with each other. Right? So what I'm doing here is, Jaffa, I'm challenging you to say, you are someone who seems to have identified opportunities and sees the bigger picture.
Very true,
right?
very true.
People like you are very important for the ecosystem, because you then serve as the window to the other side. So for entrepreneurs, you serve as the window to big business professionals and what have you. For big business and all these guys, you serve as a window for entrepreneurs and what's happening on the ground. Do you guys know why businesses across the world are paying influencers? It's because they have absolutely no idea what's happening on the ground in communities. So now they are paying influencers to influence communities. That's where your opportunity is. You are on the ground. Do you see what I'm saying? So guys like you, guys like...
I really appreciate it. I really get you. And just thanks for that insight. And I
I think I'll drop you something in your DM. Yeah.
Perfect. Please do.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Underground Soldier, do you have? So I'm going to take questions until for the next 9 minutes, and then I'm going to close off the space and go have something to eat. So Underground Soldier, do you have a question or comments?
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's good that some other people try to express their mindsets. Also learning as well.
Okay. Yeah, so anyone else? Anyone else? We've got 8 more minutes. Don't be scared. You know, just jump on board. Don't be afraid. Don't be scared.
Okay, in the absence of anybody who wishes to talk, I'm here to advertise what I want to do. So we came up with a strategy whereby in the space of, with all the analysis that we did, because aside the innovation which we want to put in place, I personally am a digital marketer, and what I do more precisely is to bring what you think you can get at your doorsteps. That's what I'm good at doing, whether it's with whosoever, whether you are which part of this world, because I've moved around Africa, you know what's going on. And so we have put in place a strategy whereby we call on investors to be more precise. We don't want a huge investment, because to launch something with too much fund is going to cause a lot of damage, especially when it's something who has not been practiced in a large scale. So we have built up a strategy whereby any investors can come with any amount which they want, but the investment is going to be done gradually.
Perfect.
Like injection.
Perfect.
Investment is supposed to be by injection, and there is going to be a strategy whereby those who are making money, because not everybody in this world is ready to work anymore. Those who have made money, us, our team is ready to work. We are here to work for you guys.
Okay.
Come on, invest, you sit back, you see how everything is progressing, and for security purposes, we have also put a plan whereby after the investment has been done, after a period of roughly 8 months to 1 year, you are going to be receiving an incentive from the returns of the business, because first thing first, we have to prioritize the workers.
Okay.
Those are the strengths, the business which have been put in place. So we have to prioritize them, and also giving a good life to the business. As far as the security is concerned, the market is already available. We have different business partners who are in different countries, more precisely in China and in India, who are ready to make the purchase. So we are already set to launch everything, but we have already a reliable team, and also trustworthy people who are ready to work, and also group of people who have nothing doing, which are also ready to work. We have done our analysis and everything. We are fully ready.
Perfect.
But we need that strength, financial strength. Anybody who wants to make passive income and see how things are changing, you should come in here. We welcome you.
So here's what I'm going to ask everybody. I'm going to make this request again, right? Girls, you're noted. Put your business and your business contact details, your website, on your bio. Do it as we speak. And if you want to then talk about your business, share it with somebody, do it quickly. Or you can add this space and you can send out a tweet. What's important, guys, is the next time we have this space, have your details on your bio so people can get a hold of you when you share ideas, when you talk about what you're doing. Critically important. Because bit by bit, that's how you build trust. First, it's introduction. Then people see what you're doing. Then they follow you after a while, and then they reach out. So critically important. Thanks for sharing that information, Underground Soldier. Both.
Thank you, Mr. Tom. I just need your professional opinion on do you think a business of virtual administration or assistant would be a viable idea? Then number two, do you think a business plan is really necessary
Okay.
or not?
So, okay, good question. So before I say that, right, guys, before you do business with each other, please do due diligence and investigate each other just to make sure you can trust each other, please. Please. I don't want people to say Mr. Nube said so, because I'm going to deny it. And I'm going to delete this recording. So please just make sure you do your due diligence and you build trust with each other, please, guys. To make sure, build a relationship, build trust, have a conversations, have a coffee, see each other first. Because there's so many of you who are doing great things, so many of you who've seen the continent, who realize opportunities, and there's so many of you who have money, who want to invest, who want to build relationships, who want to build networks. So the issue of virtual assistant, just now in May, I actually have my first phone call with someone who's a virtual assistant that I'm considering hiring, because my calendar is a mess. My life is a mess. I need someone to organize my life now, just because of the work volume I've got. So there's definitely opportunity for it. But for people who are thinking about hiring a virtual assistant, it's about making sure that you don't share personal information that will jeopardize your safety with people you don't know. So what I would say is there is definitely opportunities for virtual assistants, definitely. Because I will tell you, this person who's a virtual assistant that I'm seeing is someone I'm going to pay. Their fees are quite good for what they want, for what I want them to do. And in terms of a business plan, what I would say, was anybody, in fact, if you want to build a business plan first, a business plan is great because it helps you think about your business long term. Take your time, build your business plan over time. But first you have to prove it. The way you prove your business plan is you take your idea to market. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if you want to start virtual assistant business course, set it up, go to market, get a few customers, and then use actual numbers in your business plan. Because then you're more likely to get investment. Thank you everybody for joining the space. Thank you for your participation. Thank you also much to everyone who's contributed. Thank you for your feedback and for the perspective that you've shared. I hope you found this valuable. I hope you found this useful. Please remember to get yourself a copy of the 10-minute guide to starting a business, lessons entrepreneurs learn the hard way, 4th edition. If you want to get the e-copy, DM me or WhatsApp us on 073-053-1044. Our WhatsApp number again, 073-053-1044. Whether you want the e-copy or the paperback copy, or you can go to our website, the10minuteguide.com. It was a pleasure speaking with all of you, meeting you. Hopefully we can do this again. If you want access to, whether it's tools, resources, please look at one of my last 3 tweets. There's a tweet that's got a Google form where you can sign up and we can email you directly and contact you. Please sign up there. And if someone say something, Betty? Yeah, it's 073. So if you're outside of South Africa, it's 0027 73 053 1044. Yes. Okay. So sign up for that Google form. if you want this space, Betty, will you please put your mic on mute? Thank you. So sign up on that Google form and we'll send you tools, discounts, features, funding opportunities, and that kind of thing. If you want the space again, please tweet me to let me know. What would be great with these kinds of spaces is if we have actual questions around implementation, that's always great. I don't want to have discussions for the sake of discussions. So let's get in touch. Let's move ourselves forward. Thank you all for your time. Thank you all for participating. And hopefully next time we have a conversation, we can get more people to volunteer and share ideas. And let me know if you've bought copies of the 10-minute guide, please tweet me. If you've bought e-copies on Google and Amazon, please go and rate it. We want your honest opinion with people. If you've read the paperback copy, please DM, please WhatsApp, please email me. We want your honest opinion. Through giving honest feedback, that's the only way we can provide good, meaningful, impactful information. And when you do get a copy of the book, implement it as you need and see how well it works for you. Then let's touch base. Looking forward to hearing from you all. Have a good night. Have a lovely weekend. Be safe. Make sure you're surrounded by love. Get some rest. Drink some water. Go out into the sunlight. Hug people you love. Tell them you love them. Always be on your best behavior. And I'll chat to you guys next time. Good night. Delia, thank you for co-hosting. Thank you all for participating. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Mrs. Andy. So I just want to say, everybody, that Temba currently has hard copies of the paperback of 10-minute guide. So if you want the book, you can contact me or Mrs. Sandiso. Then Temba will make a special delivery to your place. So you guys don't want to miss out on this opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So please, everybody, just make sure that you purchase the book. It's a very insightful, it's very great. Like, it's a good book to give you, like, it has a lot of good insight on how to start your business and everything.
Perfect. Yes, thank you for reminding us, Delia. Temba does have paperback copies. Please get Delia. Do you want to share your WhatsApp where they can reach out, or should I just?
Yes, you can DM me on Twitter, or maybe you can WhatsApp me on 071-078-5027.
Say your number again, Delia.
071-078-5027.
Okay, fantastic. I mean, this is great. And what's lovely is it's through our partnership with Temba that the space happened and that we've been able to reach so many people. So we're thankful for that partnership. You know, we're thankful to have someone like Temba. We're thankful to have someone like Delia also working with us to facilitate this. And everybody else who's retweeted, quoted our tweets, liked our tweets, shared our tweets. We love you. We appreciate you. We appreciate the work you've been putting in. Please keep doing it. Let's make sure we move our people forward and leave nobody behind. Anything else, Julia?
Yeah, thank you to everybody that has purchased the book, and you guys are the real MVPs. Temba appreciates all the love and the support. Thank you guys.
Absolutely. And if you're buying the book, whether if you're buying the paperback copy, especially on our website, please use the promo code Temba Broly. If you're buying an e-copy, please send us, DM me or DM Delia, a snapshot of your e-copy so that we can allocate. And we know that to allocate that to Temba. Thank you all so much. Thank you, guys. Thank you, everybody, guys and girls, young men and young women. Good night, everybody. Have a lovely weekend. Ciao. Hey, Zubo. Hey, Zubo. Thank you for joining the space.